cleaned by outside workers. The best practice is to limit guests to emergencies only.
We know things are changing every day, but we're here with you. Continuous COVID-19 coverage during primetime. We're committed to giving you facts, not fear. On 11Alive News Primetime, weeknights from 8 to 11 on WATF.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Today at noon on 11Alive.
We are seeing that lack of smell or altered taste can be a symptom.
We answer your coronavirus-related medical questions. Because 11Alive is where Atlanta speaks.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11Alive today.
Next on Primetime, a mother devastated after her son with special needs struck by a car and killed. Now she's speaking out for parents in need of support as the COVID-19 pandemic takes away options.
Plus, with the COVID-19 cases going up, parents in the state's largest school district have just 1 week to decide whether their students will go back to the classroom. So we're going to be looking at the steps Gwinnett is taking to prepare to head back to school.
And a light within the community, people in LaGrange coming together to honor the life of a man who worked at Walmart for 26 years and made so many people very happy.
11Alive News Primetime on the ATL starts now.
All right, first, today is the third highest day for coronavirus cases on record in our state. And Jeff, as you know, a lot of folks are going to be heading out for this holiday weekend when some of those families just want to get out and about.
So much concern, so different is this 4th of July from anything that we have known in our lifetime, as many cities now have canceled 4th of July fireworks shows, parades due to concern about large crowds gathering. Popular parks and lakes around the metro area expecting their parking lots to be full over the weekend. Joe Hankey stopped by Lake Lanier this afternoon, where people already had started having their holiday weekend.
Here at Lake Lanier, the sun is out today. The holiday weekend is upon us, and boaters are starting to fill the lake while swimmers are taking to the beaches. Meanwhile, doctors are saying we are still in the middle of the COVID-19 pandemic, and they are urging everyone not to let their guard down. As families on the shores of Lake Lanier today practice social distancing, full parking lots are a sign of a busy weekend ahead at the popular lake.
We need to watch our distance, wear a face mask or face covering, and wash our hands.
Dr. Jonathan Lewin, CEO of Emory Healthcare, says people should enjoy the holiday, but keeping their distance is as important now as it was at the beginning of the pandemic.
There's a reason why we need to go to the grocery store. There's a reason why we may need to go to the hardware store, but there isn't a reason to have a large barbecue in our backyard. And those are many of the things that have been causing the current problem.
A check of available reservations for Sweetwater Creek State Park, one of the closest state parks to Atlanta, shows picnic areas and campsites are booked for the 4th of July. The DNR posting an alert on its website reading some parks are experiencing large crowds on certain days. Park staff may temporarily limit access to ensure social distancing and to protect the health of the public and our employees. The concern for doctors is the possibility of large groups like this one, an 11Alive viewer captured before Memorial Day weekend. with dozens of people having a party along the shores of the Chattahoochee River near Roswell. But doctors say if done correctly, with people practicing social distancing, wearing masks when around others, and frequent hand washing, heading to the lake or a state park could be an ideal way to spend the holiday.
Going to the mountains, going to a lake house that's more desolate, I think it's going to be much safer than hitting the big city, the club, or the beach.
All right, here's a look at the latest COVID-19 numbers in our state of Georgia. The Department of Public Health reports nearly 2,800 new cases of the virus. Today marks the third highest number of new cases on record for Georgia. And look at that area in the orange. That's just in 1 week, folks. So here's a breakdown of cases and hospitalizations by age group. The cases are in teal and the hospitalizations are in orange, and you can see the group with the highest number of positive cases is now 18 to 29-year-olds. And doctors say that's in part because they're not wearing masks or social distancing. But those who are 80 and older are most at risk for needing serious medical care. So the real concern is not only the surge in cases, but the strain on the hospital system. There are coronavirus patients needing care right now as we speak. So we want to see this line trending down, of course, but it's been rising since June 7th. While the hospitals we talk to still say they're managing despite more patients, more growth at this rate could really put a lot of stress on the system.
And people who want to get tested for COVID-19 over the holiday weekend are going to have fewer options. Take a look at this map. We noticed less than 20 DPH testing sites open in Georgia over the next 3 days. There are no testing sites open in DeKalb County, the county with the third highest number of coronavirus cases in the state. We also noticed a lack of testing sites in counties south of Atlanta. There are still places where you can get a test this weekend. We have that information on 11alive.com, including the hours of operation and whether you need to make an appointment or not.
Well, a mother whose son was hit and killed by a car is now speaking out for families struggling to help find help for children with special needs during this pandemic. 11 Alive's Latasha Gibbons has a story you'll only see on 11 Alive.
Well, Jeremiah had just turned 18, and his mother says he was looking forward to having his first girlfriend and deciding if he will become a bus driver or police officer. But she says those dreams were cut short, all because she couldn't find help for him during the pandemic.
But before I even get to the hospital, I get a call from the doctor. Names I know. There's nothing else we can do.
It's been 3 weeks since LaToya Pouncey's son, Jeremiah, was struck by a Clayton County officer. The police report says the 18-year-old was hit while walking on Highway 85 around 1 a.m. on June 10th. He died a week later.
I'm in a daze because he was my son. He meant something to me. He meant something to my family. He meant everything to us.
While his death was the result of the car crash, his mother counts it as another casualty of COVID-19. Pouncey says before the pandemic, Jeremiah was in a special needs program at Tri-Cities High, a program that gave him resources, structure, and support. But she says when schools closed, so did the program, leaving her son with few options while she worked. Pouncey says Jeremiah started wandering around town and would get on the bus or train and go to hospitals all over the metro where he felt safe, staying at each one as long as he could.
When he turned 18, he started going to emergency rooms on his own. 3 and 4 hospitals a day. Not one a day, 3 and 4 hospitals a day.
While she grieves her loss, this mother is crying out for help for other families experiencing the same thing.
So many families that's out here suffering, that may not have the means to really go get their children help that needs it.
She says since Jeremiah was 18 and not showing major aggression, he couldn't be hospitalized. And because of COVID-19, nearly all of the programs that may have been able to offer help were either highly restricted or shut down.
He's a lovable child. I mean, everyone that came across her, I wanted to do so much for him.
So earlier this week, we heard from other families who have children with special needs, concerned about the cuts to other programs as the state approved its budget for the fiscal year. And you can read more about that on our website, 11alive.com.
Let's get you caught up on the other local stories now making headlines this evening. A discovery gruesome in Dawson County. The sheriff's office and GBI investigating after a baby's body was found off Johnson Road around noon today. Investigators believe the child was 1 or 2 weeks old. They say it's too soon to know how the child died or whether there is any foul play involved. Bond set at $10,000 today for a man charged with arson in the fire that burned down the Southeast Atlanta Wendy's off University Avenue. John Wade, this man, waived his first court appearance. Wade is one of 3 people charged in the fire that destroyed the restaurant a few weeks ago. The fire was set a day after a white police officer shot and killed Rayshard Brooks, who was a DUI suspect in the parking lot. That sparked protests, as you know, as part of the conditions to be released. The judge ordered Wade to wear an ankle monitor, have no contact with the other defendants, and to stay away from that burned out Wendy's. MARTA is doing its part to try to stop the spread of COVID-19. The agency says it'll be handing out up to 2 million free masks to passengers beginning on Monday. You can grab one between 7 and 11 a.m. on the weekdays, with the program expanded on weeknights, weekends, based on demand. Just look for workers in red Team MARTA shirts. They have plenty of masks for you. Atlanta police tweeting there will be an extra effort on their part to patrol the Sweet Auburn neighborhood over the weekend. There have been several shootings nearby in the past month or so, and businesses have expressed concern about large street parties that have caused problems, saying they are frustrated the city is not doing more to stop them. APD says it is focusing on pedestrian safety, traffic, and parking enforcement in the area this weekend. It will be a 4th of July like we have never experienced. Beaches closed, fireworks displays canceled, including the one at Centennial Olympic Park. The professional fireworks industry struggling during the pandemic, and experts say it could have a lasting impact on holidays to come. Here's 11Alive's Elvin Lopez.
It's a time to celebrate, yet for families everywhere, this 4th of July weekend might not look like it did in previous years.
The event that they always look forward to on the 4th of July is not happening.
Firework displays like the one at Stone Mountain canceled, forcing families to find a different way to observe the holiday.
We are seeing more families than ever before go frequent the consumer fireworks stores to stock up for their celebration in their backyard.
Julie Heckman with American Pyrotechnics Association says because these community shows are off the table, they expect to see an unexpected increase in consumer sales this year.
I think we are going to see a number that no one ever anticipated.
As more spectators turn from viewing to using these fireworks, it's important to follow proper instructions and be safe.
You got to be so careful. This is one of those you got to put on your glasses and read the directions on the package about what's going to happen when you light it up.
Also, those sparklers can remain hot even after they have extinguished, so keeping a bucket of water close to soak them in afterward is also recommended.
Kids run around barefoot in the backyard, so you want to prevent any injury that you can.
And when it comes to those fireworks sales, there's one industry, Heckman says, that is at an all-time low.
The display industry that puts on those great community shows, they make all of their revenue. 80% of their revenue is derived on July 4th alone. They don't get a do-over.
Heckman hopes Congress will help these professional display industries so that next year, fireworks shows like the one in Stone Mountain and Centennial Park can go on.
They are really, really hurting, and they are struggling for survival. When we look at it here, we see record sales for the backyard consumer guys. The professional display industry is on life support.
People gathered at the LaGrange Walmart today to remember a shining light in their community. We first told you about this story. It's about Carl Green. Last month, when members of his community gathered to celebrate his 26th year working at the local Walmart. Well, people called him the definition of good. And his impact on the community actually showed when neighbors and first responders came together to celebrate that milestone. Well, Green died suddenly within a month after that celebration. Well, today people showed up at the LaGrange Walmart to remember him with T-shirts that read, "Love like Carl." You can tell from the crowd, this crowd right here, folks, just how much he meant to those folks here. And just like his 26-year celebration, members of the LaGrange Police Department were there today to celebrate his life. All right, straight ahead. A fireworks display at Mount Rushmore is moving forward despite fears of rising COVID-19 cases, wildfires, and planned protests. More on the president's controversial trip next. Plus, what's standing in the way of another round of stimulus checks? We'll let you know.
Also, parents forced to make a decision as COVID-19 cases rise. Do they send their kids back to school or not? We talk with someone from the state's largest school district about why it is important to know where parents stand.
Today at noon on 11Alive.
We are seeing that lack of smell or altered taste can be a symptom.
We answer your coronavirus-related medical questions. Because 11Alive is where Atlanta speaks.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11Alive today.
In times of great uncertainty, some things become more clear. The things we take for granted, the people we depend on daily. Here at 11Alive, we'd like to say thank you. First responders, medical staff, sanitation workers, truck drivers, postal workers, and every brave Georgian doing their part to make a difference. We see you, we hear you, and we appreciate all that you do.
Let's start with a viral message going around. Quote, vast majority of people who died had ibuprofen Advil in their system. This message.
Parents in the state's largest school district have just 7 days to decide if they will send their kids back to campus full-time or not, or if they'll have to do the virtual learning from home. The district told our Caitlin Ross they had to set a deadline so they could have a clear picture of what school will look like for students.
So much planning is going into this. Bus schedules, class sizes, which teachers will be recording lessons. Gwinnett says they needed to set a deadline so they could get the ball rolling.
The situation changes on a daily basis, if not more frequently.
Right now, Gwinnett County schools are scheduled to return August 5th, but Gwinnett District spokesperson Bernard Watson says that's not set in stone.
As we move closer to that date, we are in constant contact with our health partners.
Well, some parents expressed frustration that they have to make a decision about their child's education with so much uncertainty about what could happen next with Georgia's coronavirus numbers. Watson says the district needs to know so they can figure out their plans.
A lot of what is going to happen in the classroom has not even been determined yet because we haven't heard back from our parents.
11Alive has heard from teachers as well, worried about teaching both in-person and online courses. Watson says they're still figuring that out too.
Some live teaching and some recorded teaching will be going on, right? But some teachers may have to do both.
One thing they're sure of, though, is that the virtual classes will be taught by Gwinnett County teachers. Some smaller districts are contracting out recorded classes to a subscription service that would provide lessons to the districts. But Gwinnett says it's not doing that.
We're going to do everything local.
Watson says he understands that these are hard decisions, and they'll have to make a lot of adjustments along the way.
This is not an optimal or ideal situation. I don't think anybody would want us to be in this situation. We are doing our best.
Well, the district is not requiring masks. He says they'll provide 3 washable masks to every student and teacher, and the district is strongly encouraging people to wear them. They'll also have hand sanitizer and one-way hallways. But in terms of class size, that's going to depend on how many kids return to campus.
President Trump is kicking off his Independence Day weekend tonight with a visit to Mount Rushmore. It's probably just one of the many national headlines you probably saw on your social media feed today. Just below the National Memorial, the president will speak, followed by a fireworks display. Nearly 7,500 people have tickets to the event, but Trump will also be greeted by Native American protesters who say his visit could lead to more coronavirus outbreaks. Event organizers plan to screen attendees and provide masks. However, the governor there says social distancing will not be required and masks will be optional. Republican lawmakers are now divided over whether to issue another round of stimulus checks to millions of Americans. Democrats are on board, and President Trump is not ruling it out, but Senate Republicans are on the fence or opposed. House Democrats already passed a $3 trillion bill that includes another round of direct deposits and checks. That bill has yet to reach the Senate floor. The first round of stimulus payments cost $293 billion. This was according to the Congressional Budget Office. The Senate left yesterday for a 2-week recess. The Trump administration making a controversial move to repeal transgender protections in homeless shelters. The Department of Housing and Urban Development plans to move forward with a measure allowing federally funded homeless shelters to house transgender people according to their sex assigned at birth. The proposal would reverse a 2016 Obama administration measure barring shelters from denying access to trans people based on their gender identity. Civil rights groups and the LGBTQ advocates swiftly condemned the rule change.
The canopy at Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport, red, white, and blue today in honor of the 4th of July. But there are not as many travelers to see this year. Our camera has got a look at the drop-off area where some people were wearing masks as they caught their flights. Airport officials expecting about 400,000 travelers over the weekend. It's a spike from what we have seen since the beginning of the coronavirus pandemic.
I'm meteorologist Chris Holcomb from the 11Alive Storm Trackers. If you've been out this evening, you know it's still pretty warm out there. Temperatures in the mid-80s right now, and we're going to hold in the 80s until at least around 10 o'clock, and even around 11 we'll be in the upper 70s, and by midnight, mid-70s, and it's going to be mild overnight with temperatures in the 70s, starting off in the morning in the lower 70s with that mixture of sunshine and clouds, and then warming up pretty quickly as we go through the daytime hours tomorrow with mainly dry weather for the first part of the day, and I really think that in the afternoon, most of us will be dry as well. There's just that 30% chance for a few of those pop-up showers around, the kind you get with the heat and humidity that'll just kind of bubble up a few of those showers. It'll be warm though, again, 91 degrees for a high temperature. So on our scale from 1 to 11, where an 11 is a perfect day, we're going to go with a 7 on the wasometer. Here's how we're looking during the evening hours tonight. Most areas dry. You know, there might be just 1 or 2 little isolated showers that pop up, but then overnight we're dry. Early in the morning, it's also going to be a dry start, kind of mild out there with those temperatures in the lower 70s. And then through the afternoon hours, at lunchtime, dry here, a couple more clouds to mix in, but then in the afternoon between noon and 6 o'clock and 5 o'clock here, it's not going to be a widespread coverage of rain. A lot of people are going to be dry on July 4th. There'll just be a few of those scattered showers that will develop, and the chances a little bit better in far north Georgia. Anything that develops will die out during the evening hours, and then on Sunday, another dry start. Lunchtime still dry, and in the afternoon, a chance for a few of those scattered showers. At this point, we're thinking on Sunday, those better rain chances are going to be more down to the south with that frontal boundary that's stalled out that is down to the south too, and we'll see the beginning of that area of low pressure, upper level low that's going to be impacting us into next week with higher rain chances. But here's a look at your hour-by-hour outlook for the 4th of July forecast. You see that mild air early in the morning, 76 at 8 o'clock. 83 by 10, and then in the afternoon hours, that's when we see that warmer air. I do think we'll get up to around 91 in the afternoon, and we're talking about just that 20 to 30% chance for showers that might pop up as you're out there cooking out. And then going into next week, that's when we see that upper level low that's going to be kind of hanging out over the southeast. So that's going to give us higher rain chances here on Monday. And you see a big part of the southeast is going to be pretty soggy through the week. Now, it's not raining all the time on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, but rain chances are going to be at about 50 to 60% through the first part of the week. And then by the end of the week, we think we're going to start to dry out just a little bit more with those rain chances that are going to be coming down. So here's a 7-day outlook. 30% chance for showers on Saturday and Sunday. High temperatures both days in the lower 90s. And then as the rain chances go up, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday to a 50 to 60% chance for showers. You see how that brings the rain chances, or actually brings the temperatures back down into the 80s. And by Thursday and Friday, when that drier air starts to move in and the rain chances go down a little bit more, the temperatures come back up into the upper 80s.
In times of great uncertainty, some things become more clear. the things we take for granted, the people we depend on daily. Here at 11Alive, we'd like to say thank you. First responders, medical staff, sanitation workers, truck drivers, postal workers, and every brave Georgian doing their part to make a difference. We see you, we hear you, and we appreciate all that you do.
Let's start with a viral message going around. Quote, vast majority of people who died had ibuprofen Advil in their system. This message is fake.
We just bought 20 dust masks for $97. Are you doing this to help people or are you doing this to make money or both?
Both. Take this email sent to the Verify team. Is it safe to have your house cleaned by outside workers? The best practice is to limit guests to emergencies only.
We know things are changing every day, but we're here with you. Continuous COVID-19 coverage during Primetime. We're committed to giving you facts, not fear. On 11Alive News Primetime, weeknights from 8 to 11 on WATF.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Today at noon on 11Alive.
We are seeing that lack of smell or altered taste can be a symptom.
We answer your coronavirus-related medical questions. Because 11Alive is where Atlanta speaks.
Atlanta's mayor is now addressing morale within the police department.
She says APD now is still dealing with some call-outs after Officer Garrett Rolfe was charged with felony murder in the shooting death of Rayshard Brooks. This after the DA announced those charges. Rumors of a blue flu swept across the city. 11Alive able to get records from the department that showed officers called out sick 170 times in the 3 days after the DA announced charges. And the head of the police union told 11Alive that officers were scared to respond to violent crimes for fear of harsh punishment. Mayor Bottoms says she understands their concerns and is committed to supporting officers. The mayor says she showed that with a 30% pay raise she introduced when she took office.
In the same way that I made that commitment to our officers, I just ask that they be reminded of the commitment that they made to our city when they took their oath. Nobody said that this job would be easy. It's not easy being mayor. It's certainly not easy being a police officer, but there's a commitment that comes with that. There will be bumps in the road. There have been bumps in the road. We are mindful of that. But the changes that we are making is not just for the safety of our community, but for the safety of our officers as well.
Moving forward, Mayor Bottoms says she is committed to bringing officers to the table to hear their concerns, while an advisory council works on potential reforms.
I think that we need to be very clear on what our expectations are, and to the extent that we have failed our officers in any way with the training that we are providing our officers, I think it is our responsibility as a city to make it very clear what our rules and regulations are, what our expectations are.
Sheba Russell's interview with the mayor covered a number of topics, from the state's coronavirus response to the upcoming census deadline. You can watch the entire conversation on the 11Alive YouTube page.
For years, some people have been pushing for the Washington Redskins to change their team name. Now the financial pressure is growing and the team is making moves. The 4th of July is tomorrow, right around the corner, but some of you have been hearing fireworks for days now. We spoke with an expert about why so many people are lighting them off early this year.
For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Today at noon on 11Alive.
We are seeing that lack of smell or altered taste can be a symptom.
We answer your coronavirus-related medical questions. Because 11Alive is where Atlanta speaks.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11Alive today.
Let's start with a viral message going around. Quote, vast majority of people who died had ibuprofen Advil in their system. This message is fake.
We just bought 20 dust masks for $97. Are you doing this to help people or are you doing this to make money or both?
Both. Take this email sent to the Verify team. Is it safe to have your house cleaned by outside workers? The best practice is to limit guests to emergencies only.
We know things are changing every day, but we're here with you. Continuous COVID-19 coverage during primetime. We're committed to giving you facts, not fear. On 11Alive News Primetime, weeknights from 8 to 11 on WATF.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Today at noon on 11Alive.
We are seeing that lack of smell or altered taste can be a symptom.
We answer your coronavirus-related medical questions. Because 11Alive is where Atlanta speaks.
Televised news.
Welcome back, everyone. Skies lighting up every night across the state and the country because of fireworks, of course, and it's been happening for weeks now. If you haven't noticed, the sudden noise is making a lot of folks out there anxious. Hope Forward looked into what might be behind this wave of fireworks.
Night after night, from New York City to South Atlanta, fireworks going off at all hours for weeks. Some people like Alex were inspired, heading to the store to grab his own supply.
Maybe want to join the fun.
But for others, the impromptu shows are unnerving.
Makes me kind of nervous and unsettled.
Dean Stockwell lives in Athens and is having trouble sleeping since fireworks started going off every night in the middle of June.
I don't get scared easily, but I'll jump still when they go off. Just because you're not expecting it.
In Atlanta, near the skate park in Old Fourth Ward, Spencer Osborne's getting used to the nightly display.
And all of a sudden it's a few fireworks, you look outside and you see smoke, and people have honestly started to become a bit desensitized to it at this point.
And there's more stories like this in neighborhood apps, making people wonder what's going on. Well, several sheriff and police departments tell us they've seen an uptick in fireworks complaints this year. Gwinnett County received 132 calls in 2019, but 313 in 2020. Cobb saw an increase from 55 fireworks complaints to 219 last month. So why is it happening? There's 4 theories according to people we talked to. Theory 1, quarantine boredom.
The switch turned on and it's been busy.
Business is, well, booming for fireworks companies because of backyard celebrations. Phantom Fireworks reported their sales doubled at all 80 stores across the U.S. And Steve Puthoff at Pyro City Fireworks in Conyers definitely noticed a spike in sales.
Obviously, everybody's been pent up. We've had people come in for graduations, birthdays, just everybody celebrating to be out of the house.
And theory 2, recent protests. Although fireworks were used by some during the early days of the protest, they still sounded off for hours across the state, even when there wasn't a protest. The next theory is more of a conspiracy. Social media lit up with a theory that the government is conducting psychological warfare. But given that families were visiting stores like Pyro since May and others witnessed neighbors or kids firing them off,
and seeing ordinary people setting off fireworks from that skate park.
There's not much to support Theory 3. The fourth theory is the time of year. Police say despite recent higher numbers, fireworks calls always increase from June to July. And since many activities remain canceled and it's legal in Georgia to pop fireworks all year between 10 a.m. and 11:59 p.m., the professionals think this may last for a while.
I anticipate we're going to be busier than normal until Labor Day.
But others hope this all fizzles out after Independence Day.
All right, that's Hope Ford reporting for us tonight. You know, police say they have not noticed anything out of the ordinary about the calls they've received for fireworks, other than there's just a whole lot more of them. Some of the departments we spoke with said that if they're overwhelmed with fireworks complaints and there's no other suspected crime there, they'll just reroute their officers to handle more serious calls. A lot of you are reacting to this story on our 11Alive Facebook page, some saying just deal with the noise. Others saying that they want fireworks banned from their neighborhoods. Just head over to our website and over to our Facebook page, and we would love to hear from you. Well, you have heard of Valentine's babies, maybe Christmas babies, maybe baby boomers. If you're from my generation, maybe Jeff's generation. But what about quarantine babies? It's a thing. Well, about 9 months from now, we could be seeing a boom in newborns as medical professionals are seeing an uptick in pregnancies. Brett Leon takes a closer look at the quarantine baby boom and brings us one family story that's nothing short of a miracle.
The Griswolds are expecting.
I didn't believe it. I think everyone's pretty excited. Obviously, we're right about that 3-month mark, so we really haven't told a lot of people yet, so surprise.
Turns out that announcement isn't uncommon right now.
We are looking at, I think, 2020 to be positive 1,000 deliveries, which we haven't been 1,000 positive deliveries for over 5 years. Is it COVID-19? I'm not sure.
It's something people are referring to as the COVID baby boom, but Dr. Melissa Richards doesn't think boom is the right term.
I think we will expect a bit of a bump, but probably not a boom.
Baby bump or not, for the Griswolds, that bump is a miracle.
We, like I said, had to use IVF to conceive our twins, who are about to turn 7 next week. So we weren't expecting this. We kind of closed this chapter in our lives, and we're moving on thinking we were done, and surprise.
In 2019, we did 57 deliveries in the month of December, and it looks like right now for 2020, for December, we're tracking to deliver 80 patients.
Told me about it, and I was very surprised, yeah, so looking forward to it, really excited, but this is not something we were planning, so.
Either way, it's a story to tell, and for the Griswolds, in more ways than one.
Some good things are coming from this pandemic, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's a story for sure.
Well, the Atlanta Braves are back for their first workout in 4 months, and there are plenty of adjustments to be made to help keep the players and staff safe. Maria Martin is at Truist Park with more on the new norm for Major League Baseball.
Right now, I just was out there saying hello to some of those guys, and you give them a elbow bump or just say hi from a distance.
The Braves are back for the first time in nearly 4 months of no baseball in what they're calling summer training, and they're preparing for the shortest season in Major League Baseball history. 60 games in nearly 66 days. It's going to be a sprint, and Brian Snitker said he's going to prepare for all possibilities in the next couple weeks.
Everybody takes their temperature twice in the morning before they even come in here. There's going to be days when they're going to turn guys away, and it's going to change the schedule a little bit.
It's going to be a serious adjustment on everybody, but at the same time, we do know that we're excited to be back, and we've got a lot of eyes on us.
Just a lot of the stuff that comes natural, you really have to second guess at the moment. Just how close you are to each other and those kinds of things.
And call it a blessing in disguise, if you will. Lefty Cole Hamels said he feels really good after missing time from a shoulder injury.
This was my third bullpen. Shoulder feels great. Now it's just really just building up the endurance.
As you can see, the guys really excited to get back. Ozzie Albies doing some work with third base coach Ron Washington. They have to get used to those social distancing guidelines that are set in place by MLB and those elbow bumps in the clubhouse as well. Now, the guys have been coming in shifts ever since 7:30 this morning in shifts of 5 or even 2 players, and they're going all the way through 5 o'clock tonight. So very different, but just excited to have baseball back here at Truist Park.
There's been a lot of reaction tonight after the National Football League has announced it will play Lift Every Voice and Sing before each game in Week 1. The song will be performed before the Star-Spangled Banner. That's according to ESPN. The move comes 4 weeks after NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell pledged to work with players in the fight against social injustice. The season opener scheduled for September 10th with the world champion Chiefs hosting the Texans. The Washington Redskins are saying that they will undergo a thorough review of the team's name. That means that this is on its way out. This comes amid a lot of pressure for the team to get rid of that moniker that has been controversial for so many years. Yesterday, FedEx requested the team be renamed. The company owns the stadium naming rights, and its chief executive holds a minority stake in the team of Daniel Snyder. Investment firms and shareholders recently sent a letter urging sponsors to stop doing business with the organization until that moniker is changed. The owner said today, Daniel Snyder, who has been an opponent of changing it, that he wants to take into account the franchise's proud history, but he also wants to include input from the organization, the community, and the league as part of the review process. Coming up next on Primetime, the unlikely faces on the front lines. We'll meet one person whose job it is to keep families safe inside hospitals by making some very difficult decisions.
In times of great uncertainty, some things become more clear. The things we take for granted, the people we depend on daily. Here at 11Alive, we'd like to say thank you. First responders, medical staff, sanitation workers, truck drivers, postal workers, and every brave Georgian doing their part to make a difference. We see you, we hear you, and we appreciate all that you do.
Let's start with a viral message going around. Quote, vast majority of people who died had ibuprofen Advil in their system. This message is fake.
We just bought 20 dust masks for $97. Are you doing this to help people or are you doing this to make money or both?
Both. Take this email sent to the Verify team. Is it safe to have your house cleaned by outside workers? The best practice is to limit guests to emergencies only.
We know things are changing every day, but we're here with you. Continuous COVID-19 coverage during primetime. We're committed to giving you facts, not fear. On 11Alive News Primetime, weeknights from 8 to 11 on WATF.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Today at noon on 11Alive.
We are seeing that lack of smell or altered taste can be a symptom.
We answer your coronavirus-related medical questions. Because 11Alive is where Atlanta speaks.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11Alive today.
U.S. Surgeon General Jerome Adams is urging anyone celebrating the 4th of July this weekend to wear a mask because COVID-19 is not taking a vacation at all. And he says masks are the key to more freedom, not less, because fewer cases means more things can stay open. You can do a lot more things. He also appealed directly to younger people this morning on the Today Show.
We know that many of the new cases are being spread in much younger people, and it's why we now encourage everyone to wear a face covering or a mask so that you can prevent asymptomatic spread. If you want college football in the fall, young people, please wear a face covering. If you want prom next year, please wear a face covering. It can prevent asymptomatic spread and help us overcome this virus.
Now, this just comes days after Adams joined Governor Brian Kemp on a statewide tour pushing people to wear masks. Over the past 2 weeks, all but 10 states have seen an increase in their COVID or coronavirus numbers, and 36 have seen an increase in the rate of tests that have come back positive, which means it's not just more tests driving up those numbers. Yesterday, the United States recorded a new high for single-day cases.
For months, many hospitals were shut down, not allowing families to see their loved ones, and sometimes in their final moments. A very tough measure that keeps people safe by preventing the potential spread of the virus. Here's Matt Pearl, who spoke to one man whose job it is to turn them away.
We started pre-COVID, clock in for your 12-hour shift, and you have some reasonable expectation that I'm going to do this, I'm going to move to this. We really turned that on its head. My name is Mike Hodges. I'm the Director of Public Safety for Piedmont Athens Regional. The hospital, pre-COVID, is a very open and welcoming place, and we like it that way. We want families to come and go. A facility our size can see, a couple of thousand folks a day. It's down to, hundreds, in the lower hundreds. It's very restricted to those that absolutely need to be in the hospital to support patient care. Most people, they probably look at hospital public safety and think, have a picture of a security guard sitting on a bench somewhere watching the crowd go by. You're dealing with the full range of human emotions in a hospital. To be able to enter into someone's worst day and someone's worst moment and help de-escalate and calm. If there's an issue in a room, the officer's going to go in as well and be there in that environment. That weighs on individuals. Our goal is to be the calm in the storm. We certainly know about the nurses that put themselves in harm's way, or the physicians coming in and out. We're all in this together, which can be kind of a hokey phrase at this point, but it's true. What's caused me to be so proud is just seeing that complete lack of hesitation. That commitment to the role that the job that they have. They go where they're needed, and that's the point.
Well, was it hot enough for you out there today? And, a lot of us made it through the day without seeing any rain around. And you can see that more of the moisture is down along the Gulf Coast region, and that's indicated by the orange colors here. That's indicating the air that's a little more moist. We're a little bit drier here, so we saw fewer showers around, and that's going to be the case here tomorrow, too. Now, still we have some humidity around, and with the heat and humidity, we might have a couple of showers that will bubble up in the afternoon, but it's not oppressively humid, so it's not that bad out there. But things are going to change once we get toward the beginning of the week. On Sunday, we'll still hold on to about a 30% chance for showers. But look how this moisture, the reds and orange colors, that starts streaming back into our area for the first part of the week, thanks to an area of low pressure. It's an upper level low that's going to be kind of stubborn. It's going to want to hang around in the southeast for a while. So as you can see, we're going to have a lot more moisture around for Monday, Tuesday, and also Wednesday. That's where we're going to have the higher rain chances in our area. But once we get toward the end of the week, that area of low pressure starts to move away, and some drier air starts to filter in. So by the end of the week, we will see the rain chances coming back down a little bit. And this is reflected also by the dew point. That's the amount of moisture in the atmosphere. When you see these dew points in the 60s, yeah, it's still humid, but it's not the oppressively humid air. But once we get into next week, that's when we are going to see that more of that humidity moving back in here with that increase in our rain chances that'll be moving our way. So here's a look at the weather headlines. It is going to be a hot holiday. Temperatures temperatures on July 4th are going to be in the lower 90s. We're going to hold in the lower 90s on Sunday as well for highs. And with that heat and humidity, just a few afternoon pop-up showers, maybe a couple of thunderstorms around, but they're not going to be widespread. And then the rain chance goes up next week as we see that upper level low kind of hang out here in the southeast to give us those higher rain chances. So we're going to go with the 7 on the wasometer tomorrow. That's our scale from 1 to 11, where an 11 is a perfect day, with those highs at 91 and just a few scattered showers that'll pop up in the afternoon. In fact, you can see that through the nighttime hours tonight, we're mainly dry. And then in the morning, another dry start here. At lunchtime, partly cloudy skies, maybe a couple of showers beginning to develop up in the mountains of North Georgia. But then in the afternoon, as you can see, it's not widespread coverage. A lot of folks are going to be dry. Just that 30% chance for a shower. Rain chances a little bit higher, really along the I-85 corridor and northward. And then on Sunday, it's another dry start. At lunchtime, still dry, but in the afternoon, still a 30% chance for a shower. But even on Sunday, that rain chance may be a little bit higher on the south side. So 30% chances Saturday and Sunday for some of those showers with highs in the lower 90s. And then Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, that's when we'll see more of that moisture streaming in with a 50 to 60% chance for showers. But that also brings the temperatures down a little bit. Highs on Tuesday, only around 84. We're back to the upper 80s, though, Thursday and Friday as the drier air starts to move in and the rain chances go down a little bit more.
COVID-19 coverage during primetime. We're committed to giving you facts, not fear. On 11Alive News Primetime, weeknights from 8 to 11 on WATF.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Today at noon on 11Alive.
We are seeing that lack of smell or altered taste can be a symptom.
We answer your coronavirus-related medical questions. Because 11Alive is where Atlanta speaks.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11Alive today.
In times of great uncertainty, some things become more clear. The things we take for granted, the people we depend on daily. Here at 11Alive, we'd like to say thank you. First responders, medical staff, sanitation workers, truck drivers, postal workers, and every brave Georgian doing their part to make a difference. We see you, we hear you, and we appreciate all that you do.
Let's start with a viral message going around. Quote, vast majority of people who died had ibuprofen Advil in their system. This message is fake.
We just bought 20 dust masks for $97. Are you doing this to help people or are you doing this to make money or both?
Both. Take this email sent to the Verify team. Is it safe to have your house cleaned by outside workers? The best practice is to limit guests to emergencies only.
We know things are changing every day, but we're here with you. Continue. There's a local nonprofit known in the community for helping sex trafficking survivors cover up scars of the past. But as Mara Sariani explains, Atlanta Redemption Inc. is also doing their part to erase the hate associated with racist tattoos.
Crystal Boyd is hard at work in her shop.
The Confederate flag is the most common one that I've covered.
Transforming a large racist tattoo into something beautiful.
It was a different time in her life, and Now she is embarrassed of it. Doesn't represent, what she thinks or feels.
Boyd owns Pure Ink Tattoo and Piercings in Alpharetta and partners with Atlanta Redemption Inc. to do many different types of cover-ups.
Yeah, I just think it takes a big person to come forward and say, at one point in my life, this is what I believed in, and I realize now that it's wrong.
For the woman getting the cover-up, it hides a painful reminder of the past.
Every time I would look in the mirror and see that, all I could think was how hateful it was and how ugly it was, and it wasn't me.
Boyd is one of about 20 tattoo artists in Georgia working with the survivor-led nonprofit.
And we've helped over 250 individuals who have either been survivors of human trafficking, former self-harmers, former gang members, and people that have struggled with drug addiction.
Jessica Lamb founded the organization in 2017. Their mission to transform painful reminders of the past into symbols of triumph.
And so it's kind of like the end of their process, their healing process.
When we get to work with individuals like we are today, we get to see a heart change. And so when we see that heart change happen, then we can take it from there and begin to help them cover up the memories of their past that are left on their skin.
So no matter if it's a symbol of pain, hate, something you're embarrassed of, or no longer agree with.
I think right now our world is hurting and they need to see hope, and so we hope to offer that.
I've never been happier with the tattoo. I can honestly say, I feel free now.
All right, science? She blinded me with science. How do fireworks get their bright colors? We will connect the dots right after the break.
We know things are changing every day, but we're here with you. Continuous COVID-19 coverage during primetime. We're committed to giving you facts, not fear. On 11Alive News Primetime, weeknights from 8 to 11 on WATF.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Today at noon on 11Alive.
We are seeing that lack of smell or altered taste can be a symptom.
We answer your coronavirus-related medical questions. Because 11Alive is where Atlanta speaks.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11Alive today.
In times of great uncertainty, some things become more clear. The things we take for granted, the people we depend on daily. Here at 11Alive, we'd like to say thank you. First responders, medical staff, sanitation workers, truck drivers, postal workers, and every brave Georgian doing their part to make a difference. We see you, we hear you, and we appreciate all that you do.
Let's start with a viral message going around. Quote, vast majority of people who died had ibuprofen Advil in their system. This message is fake.
We just bought 20 dust masks for $97. Are you doing this to help people or are you doing...
When the sun sets on the 4th of July, many will be looking up at the sky watching the fireworks displays. But have you ever wondered what gives fireworks their dazzling colors? Here's Wes Peary to connect the dots.
So you like watching fireworks, huh? Well, then you also like watching science in action. Now, before I get too sciencey on you, let's start with your basic firework. The source of most fireworks is a small tube called an aerial shell that is shot into the air before it explodes at a safe height. This shell contains chemicals that create all of the lights, colors, and sounds of a firework. Inside there are small globs of explosive materials called stars. It's these stars that give the fireworks their color when they explode. Typically, light from the fireworks is produced by luminescence. The heat created from the explosion of gunpowder in the aerial shell creates a lot of heat, which causes metal salts in the stars to absorb heat energy and emit light. The electrons inside the atoms of these metals become excited by the heat. The electrons then almost immediately go to a lower energy state, and that's when they emit light and a specific color. The color is based on the metal used, like strontium, barium, sodium, copper, or other mixtures.
11Alive News Primetime on the ATL starts now.
Those things, you don't forget them.
Next on Primetime, social change long overdue. Black Georgia lawmakers share painful memories, some not so very distant, of their encounters with police. Georgia sees another surge in coronavirus cases, with some metro Atlanta counties setting new records again today. But with a long holiday weekend ahead, some are ready to celebrate how the virus is impacting those plans. But we begin tonight with the Ahmaud Arbery case. Tonight we're hearing from the Cobb County District Attorney, who is named as a special prosecutor in the case.
All new on Primetime, NBC's Blaine Alexander sat down with DA Joyette Holmes, who says this case is very personal to her.
It's a case that has stoked nationwide protests and calls for justice, the death of Ahmaud Arbery. Joyette Holmes is leading the prosecution.
When this case landed on your desk, did you feel a particular responsibility?
Oh, absolutely. The responsibility was just one of what we do with our cases. I certainly have a sense of community and know what the expectation is of me, not because I'm the district attorney on the case, but also because I'm an African-American female.
Holmes is the fourth prosecutor on the case, appointed by Georgia's Attorney General after two previous DAs recused themselves over potential conflicts of interest. Arbery was unarmed, jogging in a South Georgia neighborhood, his family says, when he was followed and killed. One of the suspects told police they pursued because they thought Arbery was a burglary suspect and that Travis McMichael fired when Arbery began to violently attack. 3 men now indicted for murder. Arrests came 10 weeks after Arbery's death, only after video became public.
You get upset when you watch it, but as a prosecutor in the case, I have to make sure that I'm following the evidence that is brought to me.
A former chief magistrate judge, now one of just a few black DAs in all of Georgia.
Do you believe that we're at a moment of change, of racial reckoning in this country?
I do. I think everybody's open and ready for the conversation now.
Playing a key role with the world watching.
Now to a story behind the Black Lives Matter movement. When African Americans say their encounters with police are more contentious and more frequent, it includes people who have achieved some status in their lives. During the recent legislative session, 11Alive's Doug Richards spoke with black lawmakers about their experiences with police.
Well, you know, all my encounters wasn't bad, but on this particular time, I was at college, shooting pool, having some wings, having a good time. Yeah, Top Gun was out there, and I had a bomber jacket, and the waitstaff let me know that, hey, somebody took your jacket off the wall. We ran down the steps and then ran down the street to see if we could just see the jacket on anybody. And lo and behold, we did catch up to it was a group of people. They were definitely a different race than I was. And we confronted them. And when the cops showed up, I had just taken the jacket in my possession. And so the cops grabbed me like I was the guy stealing the jacket, and I was actually the victim.
So I moved to Gwinnett in 1978. When you live in Gwinnett, you with 70,000 people, you don't have very many blacks. The police didn't quit stopping me in Gwinnett until 1994. One time they stopped me and said I was going too slow. It's kind of like I was going 55, I was going 60, so what is too slow? But they saw somebody of color. It's like, okay, where are they going? And the last time they stopped me one house from my house.
I was at the Walmart over off of Camp Creek Parkway in my van, and my wife and daughter was inside. The police came to my van and told me to get out, and I asked them why. They never answered me. They threw me up against the side of my van, and I'm still asking, okay, what's the problem? You know, what's going on? They're telling me shut up. So finally, my wife and my daughter came out of the store trying to, you know, they were scared to death because they didn't know what was going on. The police didn't talk to them, basically told them to go stand on the side, mind the business. And one of the officers that was on the phone apparently got the information that they needed to find out that I was not the person that they wanted to arrest. And they never apologized, nothing.
I grew up in Baltimore, Maryland. I remember just sort of driving through Baltimore and being pulled over by the cops just because I was driving while black. And it stuck with me, and it's on me now. I'm 51 years old, still with me. These four guys, four white men in an unmarked car followed me for miles. It was four police officers. And they followed me from where I was working a landscaping job almost to my neighborhood in the city and said, what are you doing? And we want to just make sure you're going home and you're getting to the right place. But we have to really see, okay, what is it really like to be a black man in America when the police are right at your heels?
Those things, you don't forget them.
How would you feel if that was your constant state of being? Well, that's kind of how it is in America.
And we're already starting to see some change here in our state of Georgia since the nationwide protests began in late May against police brutality and racism. Last week, the state legislature passed a hate crimes bill, and the governor immediately signed it into law. But that's just one small piece in a greater push to bring about substantial changes. And you can read a whole lot more about those efforts on our 11Alive app. Just look for it under the As Seen on TV section.
Georgia's COVID-19 cases continuing to rise today with nearly 2,800 reported this afternoon. Take a look at this map, or take a look at this graph rather. The dotted line on this graph, that is Georgia's curve. And since June 19th, it's been trending straight upwards. We've set records 5 times in the past 2 weeks. Here's where the bulk of those cases are located. So Gwinnett County has more cases than any other county in the state. And yet again today, Gwinnett hit a new record high with 466 new positive tests reported. The largest concentration remains in the Lawrenceville area. Over in Fulton County also set a new record for new cases today with 366. Zip code 30331 has the county's largest concentration of cases. That's in the city of Atlanta and part of South Fulton. County officials are also closely watching the city's west side, which is seeing cases grow rapidly. Over in Cobb County, it's seen several days this week with more than 200 new cases, which is a pretty rapid increase from an area previously averaging fewer than 100 cases a day.
Despite many cities canceling 4th of July fireworks shows and parades because of the pandemic, state parks and nearby lakes are preparing for a very busy holiday weekend. 11Alive's Joe Hinkie went to Lake Lanier today, where the 4th of July celebrations are already underway.
Nice weather and the 4th of July holiday weekend. Doctors believe that could be a disastrous combo during the COVID-19 pandemic if people let their guards down. So they are asking people to enjoy the holiday, have a great time, but do so safely. At Lake Lanier today, many began enjoying the 4th of July a day early. Swimmers are on the beach and boaters are on the water as people celebrate. For doctors, one concern is a recent spike in COVID-19 cases amongst a younger age group in multiple metro Atlanta counties.
We're seeing much higher numbers of positive cases in our younger populations, 30 and under. So that's very worrisome, particularly as we walk into this 4th of July weekend.
Dr. Sandra Elizabeth Ford, director of the DeKalb Board of Health, says if people ignore health advice now, especially people 30 and younger, the pandemic will easily stretch through the fall.
During this 4th of July weekend, there are certain things we should do and there are certain things we shouldn't do.
Dr. Carlos Del Rio, infectious disease expert with Emory University, says to avoid the big crowds. But being outside can be a great way to enjoy the holiday if you remember to social distance, wear a mask when around others, and wash your hands frequently.
Going out with with lots of people, large gatherings to watch the fireworks is probably not a good thing. We really need to remember that there's a pandemic happening right now, and that it's going to be really critical. I'm really concerned about this holiday, about what people do.
I'm meteorologist Chris Holcomb from the 11Alive Storm Trackers, and you know, most of us are dry right now, but we do have a couple of scattered showers that are around, some of them with heavy rain and even a little bit of thunder. My phone is sitting here on your screen because I'm talking to almost 300 people on a Friday night on Facebook Live. We're having a good time here on the holiday. A lot of folks are asking about what to expect over the 4th of July. Carol Persico says, have a blessed weekend and July 4th. Michael Baxter's asking me what I'm cooking tomorrow. So just some fun comments like that. If you want to be part of this conversation, go to my Facebook page, Chris Holcomb 11Alive, and you can join these 300 people, and we can talk a little bit more about the weather. But let me tell you on TV what's going on right now. We're dry in town right now, and really most people are not getting rain. But as we often see in the summertime with the heat and humidity, we're seeing a few of those isolated showers that have just bubbled up from nowhere. Take a look at this one in Cobb County. You'll see that that just kind of developed here in East Cobb, and then it's kind of moving over toward the west, and as it does, it's kind of holding together there where we have a shower that did have some heavy rain with it a few minutes ago. It's between Kennesaw and Powder Springs, and it's about to move over the line into Paulding County, but as it moves into Paulding County, it is weakening. So we don't expect it to last that much longer. It's pretty much going to rain itself out. This is just to the west of 75, north of 278, and it's about to cross over into Paulding County. Up in northwest Georgia, a few additional showers. These are a little bit stronger here, and we do have some thunder and lightning. This is north of Rome. Here's Rome right here. This is up into Chattooga County near Somerville, where we have some heavy rain and thunder and lightning in association with those showers. And then elsewhere, nothing is really going on. Showers and storms in Alabama, also in northern Florida. That's not moving our way. Those showers are pretty much moving down toward the south and also to the west. Take a live look out there right now. This is our tower cam. This is a really cool shot. This is our tower cam looking west over Truist Park. It's not raining there, but you can see that rain shaft far in the distance. That's that rain that's coming down over in the western parts of Cobb County. Stay with us. We'll let you know if we'll see any additional showers that are going to be developing in our area for the 4th of July. We'll have more on that in just a few minutes.
A gruesome discovery today in Dawson County. The sheriff's office and GBI investigating after a baby's body was found off Johnson Road around noon today. Investigators believe the child was 1 or 2 weeks old, and they say it's too soon to know how the child died or whether there's any foul play involved. Well, tonight, bond is set at $10,000 for a man charged with arson in the fire that burned down a Wendy's in southeast Atlanta. As part of his condition for release, John Wade must wear an ankle monitor, stay away from the 2 other defendants facing charges, and not go near the Wendy's or what's left of the Wendy's on University Avenue. The restaurant was set on fire 1 day after a police officer shot and killed a man in the parking lot while trying to arrest him for DUI, touching off protests that stretched on for days. Officer Garrett Rolfe has since been fired and is facing murder charges in connection to the Rayshard Brooks's death. Officer Devin Brosnan is also facing charges in the confrontation.
School districts across Georgia are now scrambling to try to figure out how to safely go back to school in just a few weeks. 11Alive's Caitlin Ross spoke with Gwinnett County Schools about how they plan on making that happen.
This has been a long and difficult process for school districts trying to determine how to return to campus safely. A spokesperson for Gwinnett County Schools says they've been working around the clock to make it work for students, teachers, and parents, with school set to start August 5th. But Bernard Watson says that date is not set in stone. Gwinnett may choose to postpone the start of the school year if more information about COVID-19 comes out between now and then. They're waiting to see how many students decide to return in person before they set class sizes or teacher schedules. He says some teachers will be in the classroom, others will record lessons, and some may do both. But all classes will be taught by Gwinnett County teachers. Some smaller districts are contracting out to a subscription service, but Watson says that's not in their plan. He says everyone in the district is working together to keep the kids safe, though that plan will not require wearing masks.
Students will be given 3 washable cloth masks, as well as our staff, and masks won't be required, but they will be strongly suggested and encouraged to be worn.
So what happens if there's an outbreak of COVID-19 at schools? Watson says they'll follow CDC guidelines and isolate positive cases.
Fireworks display at Mount Rushmore is moving forward despite fears of rising COVID-19 cases, wildfires, and planned protest. More on the president's controversial trip next. And of course, don't forget, we're streaming right now on the 11Alive YouTube channel. Subscribe and join the conversation in the community section. We've got more 11Alive news in prime time after the break.
In times of great uncertainty, some things become more clear. The things we take for granted, the people we depend on daily. Here at 11Alive, we'd like to say thank you. First responders, medical staff, sanitation workers, truck drivers, postal workers, and every brave Georgian doing their part to make a difference. We see you, we hear you, and we appreciate all that you do.
Let's start with a viral message going around. Quote, vast majority of people who died had ibuprofen Advil in their system. This message is fake.
We just bought 20 dust masks for $97. Are you doing this to help people or are you doing this to make money or both?
Both. Take this email sent to the Verify team. Is it safe to have your house cleaned by outside workers? The best practice is to limit guests to emergencies only.
We know things are changing every day, but we're here with you. Continuous COVID-19 coverage during prime time. We're committed to giving you facts, not fear. On 11Alive News Primetime, weeknights from 8 to 11 on WATF.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory disease.
President Trump will begin his Independence Day weekend with a patriotic display of fireworks at Mount Rushmore before a crowd of thousands. But concerns over coronavirus and wildfire danger, along with protests from Native American groups, will also greet the president. NBC's Cal Perry has the latest from Black Hills, South Dakota.
The stage is literally being set behind me for the president's arrival here. It's not without controversy, of course. We saw a lot of controversy after his rally in Tulsa. There were a number of people on the staff that tested positive for coronavirus, including some Secret Service agents, so that is hanging over the event. Add to that the symbolism of the monument. When you talk to the Native American tribes here in this area, they will remind you that this is their land, promised to them in a treaty in 1868. That treaty then betrayed by the federal government here, and so they will say the president is basically thumbing his nose at this community. The problem, of course, with COVID and the Native American community is a very serious one. This is a community that is disenfranchised and is being affected more by the coronavirus than other communities, and so it is with great fear that tonight's event will take place.
By the way, South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem has already said that social distancing will not be required at the event and masks are optional.
Well, if you're feeling patriotic, take a look at this. The canopy at Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport washed in red, white, and blue today in honor of the 4th of July, America's Independence Day. But there aren't as many travelers this year to see it. Our cameras got a look at the drop-off area where some people were wearing masks as they caught their flights. Airport officials are expecting about 400,000 travelers this weekend. That is a spike from what we've seen since the start of the coronavirus pandemic. Tonight on Primetime, Maura Sirianni has a look at how the airport plans to keep passengers and employees safe over the weekend.
In light of the virus, experts say the volume of travelers is largely dependent on how safe people feel actually getting on an airplane. Atlanta's airport making safety a top priority. Hartsfield-Jackson International expects roughly 400,000 passengers through Monday. That's more than they've seen in recent months due to COVID-19, but it's still dramatically down. Airport officials say they will now be handing out face masks. You'll also see 250 new hand sanitizing stations throughout the airport. Passengers can expect plexiglass partitions at security checkpoints to further encourage social distancing. You'll also see social distancing floor markers On the concourses, food vendors are operating under new COVID-19 protocols. And when you board, most airlines are only allowing a certain number of passengers on the plane at a time. Some airlines are actually banning passengers if they don't have a face mask. Remember, you will be asked to wear that mask throughout the duration of your flight.
We still have an impressive number of people on Facebook Live on a Friday night. Just under 200 people here at 9:16. We've been chatting for about 16, 17, 18 minutes now on Facebook Live. Having some great comments. People are asking me about, are you going to broadcast at home again? That answer is yes. We still will be doing some broadcasts from home at times, but here in the studio as well. And tonight, you know, it's a nice night out there. Take a look at radar, and we have nothing going on here in Atlanta right now. Most of North Georgia is dry. East of us dry. South of us is dry. But north and west of the city, we have a few showers we're tracking. We still have these over in Cobb County. They really, though, are showing more signs of weakening. They had a pocket of heavy rain with them a few minutes ago as it just went west of 75, that red that shows up there. But now as this part diminishes right there on the Cobb and Paulding County line, as that diminishes, this one just developed with some heavy rain. That's west of the south end of Allatoona Lake. That's in the northern parts of Paulding County. We have that pocket of heavy rain that's moving through there, and that's kind of drifting toward the north and west. So this one's collapsing, but now this one has just developed. Also, north of Rome, here's Rome right here, in the northern part here, or northwestern parts of Floyd County over into Chattooga County, we have some heavy rain. This has some thunder and lightning in association with it as well. But on the south side, we're looking good. But as you go into South Georgia, in the panhandle of Florida, also in South Alabama and West Alabama, we have some showers and storms there. And I know a lot of times when we see storms in Alabama, you would think they're moving our way, but these are not. These are in association with a stalled out front. They're actually drifting down toward the south and also to the west. Let's take another look out there. I know it's getting darker, but this is our live camera. All right, so we can kind of still see that rain shaft that is out to the west in Cobb County. That is falling apart, but it's a little harder to see now that it's getting darker. We had a good view of that just a few minutes ago. So that's what we're watching on our tower cam. And there are a few other little showers out there as well, like that one up around the Rome area. You know, it's still hot. 85 degrees here in town, 84 in Athens. Rome is 86. Marietta, with that rain that came through near you, it cooled you down to 79 degrees. Tomorrow, we're going to see a high of 91 degrees. We're going to go with the 7 on the wasometer as we'll see a few clouds mixing with the sun, and then in the afternoon, just a few isolated showers. But I want you to see it's not going to be widespread. We're dry in the morning, and then in the lunchtime hour, it's still going to be dry here in Atlanta with a couple of showers possible in the mountains at lunchtime. And then in the afternoon, with the heating, humidity, we might just bubble up a few little showers around. Rain chance, though, is only going to be at 30%. Those die out. Sunday, same thing. Dry early, and then in the afternoon with heat and humidity, we might see a couple of showers bubbling up again. But on Sunday, those rain chances might be a little bit higher on the south side versus here in Atlanta and on the north side. So we have that 30% chance for showers on Saturday and on Sunday. High temperatures both days will be in the lower 90s. And then on Monday, that's when the rain chances go up. We're going to see an area of low pressure. It's a upper level low that's going to be kind of slow to move out of the southeast, and that'll give us a 50 to 60% chance for rain Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. But that also brings the temperatures down into the 80s, and then back to the upper 80s Thursday and Friday as the rain chances go down again to 40% Thursday and 30% on Friday.
As a customer, do you have a right to know if an employee at a restaurant or a business has tested positive for COVID-19? It is a question that we get all the time, and people hear rumors about this, about a positive case or their favorite restaurant, and sometimes go as far as to accuse the business of covering it up. Well, 11Alive is where Atlanta speaks, so you asked us to look into this, and of course we did. So the answer, businesses do not have to tell their customers about an employee testing positive. In the 35 guidelines the governor laid out for businesses in his executive order, only one of them addresses what to do when a worker shows symptoms of COVID-19. It says if a worker shows symptoms, they should go home and isolate for at least 10 days and then can only return when they've been symptom-free without medication for 3 days. It does not say anything about telling other employees or customers about testing positive.
The nation's top doctors are talking about a new COVID-19 testing strategy. Their idea? To test groups of people together. So what is pool testing and how does it work? Let's connect the dots. Pool testing combines samples from multiple people. Those samples are then tested together for one group result. If it's negative, then the entire group is clear of coronavirus. But if it's positive, then every person needs to get tested individually. Experts say pool testing has a lot of advantages. It's more efficient and cost-effective. It may also help pinpoint asymptomatic people who may not have been tested otherwise. But you might be thinking, how accurate can this really be? Here's the key. The group can't be too big. That could skew the results. The magic number, around 10 people. Experts say this strategy allows them to test 10 times more people every day across the country. And that is connecting the dots.
No fireworks shows for the 4th of July. Seems weird, right? Next on Primetime, how the pandemic may impact future holiday celebrations.
Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Today at noon on 11Alive.
We are seeing that lack of smell or altered taste can be a symptom.
We answer your coronavirus-related medical questions. Because 11Alive is where Atlanta speaks.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11Alive today.
In times of great uncertainty, some things become more clear. The things we take for granted, the people we depend on daily. Here at 11Alive, we'd like to say thank you. First responders, medical staff, sanitation workers, truck drivers, postal workers, and every brave Georgian doing their part to make a difference. We see you, we hear you, and we appreciate all that you do.
Let's start with a viral message going around. Quote, vast majority of people who died had ibuprofen Advil in their system. This message is fake.
We just bought 20 dust masks for $97. Are you doing this to help people or are you doing this to make money or both?
Both. Take this email sent to the Verify team. Is it safe to have your house cleaned by outside workers? The best practice is to limit guests to emergencies only.
Well, like many other things this year, it will be a 4th of July like we've never experienced. Beaches closed, fireworks displays canceled, including the one at Centennial Olympic Park. The professional firework industry is struggling during the pandemic, and experts say it could have a lasting impact on holidays to come. 11Alive's Elwin Lopez explains.
It's a time to celebrate, yet for families everywhere, this 4th of July weekend might not look like it did in previous years.
The event that they always look forward to on the 4th of July is not happening.
Firework displays like the one at Stone Mountain canceled, forcing families to find a different way to observe the holiday.
We are seeing more families than ever before go frequent the consumer fireworks stores to stock up for their celebration in their backyard.
Julie Heckman with American Pyrotechnics Association says because these community shows are off the table, they expect to see an unexpected increase in consumer sales this year.
I think we are going to see a number that no one ever anticipated.
As more spectators turn from viewing to using these fireworks, it's important to follow proper instructions and be safe.
You got to be so careful. This is one of those you got to put on your glasses and read the directions on the package about what's going to happen when you light it up.
Also, those sparklers can remain hot even after they have extinguished, so keeping a bucket of water close to soak them in afterward is also recommended.
Kids run around barefoot in the backyard, so you want to prevent any injury that you can.
And when it comes to those fireworks sales, there's one industry, Heckman says, that is at an all-time low.
The display industry that puts on those great community shows, they make all of their revenue. 80% of their revenue is derived on July 4th alone. They don't get a do-over.
Heckman hopes Congress will help these professional display industries so that next year, fireworks shows like the one in Stone Mountain and Centennial Park can go on.
They are really, really hurting, and they are struggling for survival. When we look at it here, we see record sales for the backyard consumer guys. The professional display industry is on life support.
We're here with you. Continuous COVID-19 coverage during primetime. We're committed to giving you facts, not fear. On 11Alive News Primetime, weeknights from 8 to 11 on WATF.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Today at noon on 11Alive.
We are seeing that lack of smell or altered taste can be a symptom.
We answer your coronavirus-related medical questions. Because 11Alive is where Atlanta speaks.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11Alive today.
In times of great uncertainty, some things become more clear. The things we take for granted, the people we depend on daily. Here at 11Alive, we'd like to say thank you. First responders, medical staff, sanitation workers, truck drivers, postal workers, and every brave Georgian doing their part to make a difference. We see you, we hear you, and we appreciate all that you do.
Let's start with a viral message going around. Quote, vast majority of people who died had ibuprofen Advil in their system. This message is fake.
We just bought 20 dust masks for $97. Are you doing this to help people or are you doing this to make money or both?
Both. Take this email sent to the Verify team. Is it safe to have your house cleaned by outside workers? The best practice is to limit guests to emergencies only.
We know things are changing every day.
With the arrival of the July 4th weekend, plans to celebrate may be scrapped thanks to coronavirus. With cases reaching new records in states nationwide, new restrictions are going into place to help keep all Americans safe. NBC's Susan McGinnis has the latest.
As 4th of July weekend arrives, Americans eager to celebrate and socialize are finding a tale of two holidays. In some regions, crowds pack into venues where coronavirus restrictions are eased. Others see their beaches and bars reversing course and shutting down. This as the data show record new cases nationwide, with the majority of states seeing numbers rising in the last 2 weeks. In Texas, surging cases leading to a dramatic about-face. The governor now mandating masks in public.
COVID-19 is not going away. In fact, it's getting worse.
In parts of California, beaches are closed. Santa Monica fining those without masks $100. Across South Florida, beaches also closed. Fireworks canceled. In Miami, a 10 p.m. curfew. Farther north, 3 Florida mayors banding together, beaches open but mandating masks.
But if it got out of hand for any reason, we could shut it down very quickly.
President Trump urging thousands to join him at a celebration in Mount Rushmore. No masks required.
We won't be social distancing.
From health officials, a different message. A plea to the young.
If you want college football in the fall, young people, please wear a face covering.
It's so important to stay home right now so that we can go out later and so that people stop dying.
A message that precautions today mean fewer lives lost tomorrow.
We're dry in Atlanta right now, but we've been tracking a couple of showers north and west of the city. We had one in Cobb County that is falling apart, but then now over the county line into Paulding County, another one is developing there. That's really close to the south end of Allatoona Lake, and you can see how that just kind of developed along I-75. This is what I'm talking about. These showers just kind of bubble up, and then they rain themselves out. And this one was kind of traveling over toward the west a little bit. And as this fell apart, then we saw this other shower develop almost kind of from the outflow of that, where that has some heavy rain. That's getting closer here to the northern Paulding County line, southern Bartow line, again, really just to the west of Allatoona Lake. We don't see any lightning with this right now. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe a little lightning does develop from that, but I don't think this is going to last long. We are getting lightning out of this cell in Chattooga County around Somerville. That's right on the Floyd and Chattooga line with some heavy rain with that. And there you see the lightning strikes, about 5 of those within the past 15 minutes. And then elsewhere around Georgia, we're good here. Nothing much going on here, and a few showers in South Georgia, and then also in South Alabama and West Alabama, but those showers aren't moving our way. Here's what we're going to be watching as we go through the next couple of days here with your weather headlines. It is going to be a hot holiday. High temperatures up to 91 degrees. That's just 2 degrees above average. I know 91 sounds hot, but you know, not too out of the ordinary for us here, just a couple of degrees above the average. And we will have that chance for a few afternoon pop-up storms and then higher rain chances into next week. And I'm going to time all this out for you coming up in just a little bit.
All right, Chris, we'll see you in a couple of minutes, sir. A local nonprofit known in the community for helping sex trafficking survivors covers up scars of the past. But as Mara Sariani explains, Atlanta Redemption Inc. is also doing their part to erase the hate associated with racist tattoos.
Crystal Boyd is hard at work in her shop.
The Confederate flag is the most common one that I've covered.
Transforming a large racist tattoo into something beautiful.
It was a different time in her life, and now she is embarrassed of it. Doesn't represent, you know, what she thinks or feels.
Boyd owns Pure Ink Tattoo and Piercings in Alpharetta and partners with Atlanta Redemption Inc. to do many different types of cover-ups.
Yeah, I mean, I just think it takes like a big person to come forward and say, at one point in my life, this is what I believed in, and I realize now that it's wrong.
For the woman getting the cover-up, it hides a painful reminder of the past.
Every time I would look in the mirror and see that, all I could think was how hateful it was and how ugly it was, and it wasn't me.
Boyd is one of about 20 tattoo artists in Georgia working with the survivor-led nonprofit.
And we've helped over 250 individuals who have either been survivors of human trafficking, former self-harmers, former gang members, and people that have struggled with drug addiction.
Jessica Lamb founded the organization in 2017. Their mission to transform painful reminders of the past into symbols of triumph.
And so it's kind of like the end of their process, their healing process.
When we get to work with individuals like we are today, we get to see a heart change. And so when we see that heart change happen, then we can take it from there and begin to help them cover up the memories of their past that are left on their skin.
So no matter if it's a symbol of pain, hate, something you're embarrassed of, or no longer agree with.
I think right now our world is hurting and they need to see hope, and so we hope to offer that.
I've never been happier with the tattoo. I can honestly say, like, I feel free now.
Atlanta Redemption Inc. relies on volunteers and community donations, so you can help them out by going to our website, 11alive.com, and then click on this story.
The boys of summer are back. The Braves had their first workout in 4 months. There are plenty of adjustments being made to help keep the players and staff safe. Maria Martin is at Truist Park with more on the new normal for Major League Baseball.
Right now, I just was out there saying hello to some of those guys, and you know, you give them
elbow bump or just say hi from a distance.
The Braves are back for the first time in nearly 4 months of no baseball in what they're calling summer training, and they're preparing for the shortest season in Major League Baseball history. 60 games in nearly 66 days. It's going to be a sprint, and Brian Snitker said he's going to prepare for all possibilities in the next couple weeks.
Everybody takes their temperature twice in the morning before they even come in here. There's going to be days when they're going to turn guys away, and it's going to change the schedule a little bit.
It's going to be a serious adjustment on everybody, but at the same time, we do know that we're excited to be back, and we've got a lot of eyes on us.
Just a lot of the stuff that comes natural, you really have to second guess at the moment. Just how close you are to each other and those kinds of things.
And call it a blessing in disguise, if you will. Lefty Cole Hamels said he feels really good after missing time from a shoulder injury.
This was my third bullpen. Shoulder feels great. Now it's just really kind of building up the endurance.
As you can see, the guy's really excited to get back. Ozzie Albies doing some work with third base coach Ron Washington. They have to get used to those social distancing guidelines that are set in place by MLB and those elbow bumps in the clubhouse as well. Now, the guys have been coming in shifts ever since 7:30 this morning in shifts of 5 or even 2 players, and they're going all the way through 5 o'clock tonight. So very different, but just excited to have baseball back here at Truist Park.
Well, the times are changing, and so too are the NFL's Washington Redskins. It looks like it's going to happen here, folks. Today, the team announcing it will undergo a thorough review of its name amid mounting pressure here to replace it. Yesterday, FedEx requested the team be renamed. The company owns the stadium naming rights, and its chief executive holds a minority stake in the team. Investors also recently sent a letter urging sponsors to stop doing business with the Redskins until their name is changed. In a statement, team owner Dan Snyder said that these discussions take into account the team's tradition and history while adding input from the community, the league, and other stakeholders.
Moving over to NASCAR, where Jimmy Johnson will not race Sunday at the Brickyard. He's tested positive for coronavirus, but he's not showing any symptoms, which is good news. This is Johnson's last season as a full-time driver. He is a 7-time NASCAR champion. This would have been his final Brickyard 400. Well, when the sun goes down on the 4th of July, many of us will be looking up at the sky, watching those firework displays. But what gives those fireworks their dazzling colors? Ever thought about that? Wes Peary connects the dots.
So you like watching fireworks, huh? Well, then you also like watching science in action. Now, before I get too sciencey on you, let's start with your basic firework. The source of most fireworks is a small tube called an aerial shell that is shot into the air before it explodes at a safe height. This shell contains chemicals that create all of the lights, colors, and sounds of a firework. Inside there are small globs of explosive materials called stars. It's these stars that give the fireworks their color when they explode. Typically, light from the fireworks is produced by luminescence. The heat created from the explosion of gunpowder in the aerial shell creates a lot of heat, which causes metal salts in the stars to absorb heat energy and emit light. The electrons inside the atoms of these metals become excited by the heat. The electrons then almost immediately go to a lower energy state, and that's when they emit light and a specific color. The color is based on the metal used, like strontium, barium, sodium, copper, or other mixtures.
A lot of our Independence Day traditions are different this year, like the AJC Peachtree Road Race, which many of us are feeling. It has been postponed until Thanksgiving. Atlanta police tweeted a reminder today asking people not to run or walk the race course tomorrow. Unlike the usual race day, roads will not be closed to cars. But if you just can't wait until November, your little feet just have to get out there. The Atlanta Track Club encourages you to take part in the virtual version of the Peachtree. You can also relive the excitement of last year's 50th running of the race by watching it again tomorrow morning from 8 until 10 a.m. right here on 11Alive.
The people we depend on daily. Here at 11Alive, we'd like to say thank you. First responders, medical staff, sanitation workers, truck drivers, postal workers, and every brave Georgian doing their part to make a difference. We see you, we hear you, and we appreciate all that you do.
Let's start with a viral message going around. Quote, vast majority of people who died had ibuprofen Advil in their system. This message is fake.
We just bought 20 dust masks for $97.
Are you doing this to help people or are you doing this to make money or both?
Both. Take this email sent to the Verify team. Is it safe to have your house cleaned by outside workers? The best practice is to limit guests to emergencies only.
We know things are changing every day, but we're here with you. Continuous COVID-19 coverage during primetime. We're committed to giving you facts, not fear. On 11Alive News Primetime, weeknights from 8 to 11 on WATF.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Today at noon on 11Alive.
We are seeing that lack of smell or altered taste can be a symptom.
We answer your coronavirus-related medical questions. Because 11Alive is where Atlanta speaks.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11Alive today.
Let's start with a viral message going around. Quote, vast majority of people who died had ibuprofen Advil in their system. This message is fake.
We just bought 20 dust masks for $97.
Are you doing this to help people or are you doing this to make money or both?
Both. Take this email sent to the Verify.
U.S. Surgeon General Jerome Adams is urging anyone celebrating the 4th of July this weekend to wear a mask because COVID-19 is not taking a vacation at all. And he says masks are the key to more freedom, not less, because fewer cases means more things can remain open. He also appealed directly to younger people this morning on the Today Show.
We know that many of the new cases are being spread in much younger people, and it's why we now encourage everyone to wear a face covering or a mask so that you can prevent asymptomatic spread. If you want college football in the fall, young people, please wear a face covering. If you want prom next year, please wear a face covering. It can prevent asymptomatic spread and help us overcome this virus.
You know, this is just days after Adams joined Governor Brian Kemp on a statewide tour pushing people to wear masks. Over the past 2 weeks, all but 10 states have seen an increase in their coronavirus numbers, and 36 have seen an increase in the rate of tests that come back positive, which means it's not just more tests driving up these numbers. Yesterday, the United States recorded a new high for single-day cases.
And for months, many hospitals were shut down, not allowing families to see their loved ones, sometimes in their final moments. It is a tough measure that keeps people safe by preventing the potential spread of the virus. Matt Pearl spoke to one man whose job it is to turn them away.
We started pre-COVID, clock in for your 12-hour shift, and you have some reasonable expectation that I'm going to do this, I'm going to move to this. We really turned that on its head. My name is Mike Hodges. I'm the Director of Public Safety for Piedmont Athens Regional. The hospital, pre-COVID, is a very open and welcoming place, and we like it that way. We want families to come and go. A facility our size can see, a couple of thousand folks a day. It's down to, hundreds, in the lower hundreds. It's very restricted to those that absolutely need to be in the hospital to support patient care. Most people they probably look at hospital public safety and think, have a picture of a security guard sitting on a bench somewhere watching the crowd go by. You're dealing with the full range of human emotions in a hospital. To be able to enter into someone's worst day and someone's worst moment and help de-escalate and calm. If there's an issue in a room, the officer is going to go in as well and be there in that environment. That weighs on individuals. Our goal is to be the calm in the storm. We certainly know about the nurses that put themselves in harm's way, or the physicians coming in and out. We're all in this together, which can be kind of a hokey phrase at this point, but it's true. What's caused me to be so proud is just seeing that complete lack of hesitation, that commitment to the role that the job that they have. They go where they're needed, and that's the point.
Just a few minutes ago, I was showing you that shower that has has some moderate to heavy rain with it in the northern parts of Paulding County, right on the Bartow County line. And I told you that it didn't have any lightning with it yet, that we might see some with it. Well, we have our first lightning strike out of that right now. This is part of what developed after the storm in Cobb County fell apart. It was just a shower that developed in Cobb right along 75 near Marietta. It fell apart over here, right there on the line between Cobb and Paulding. As that fell apart, the outflow of that developed this shower that has some heavy rain with it, and the northern parts of Paulding, southern parts of Bartow here, right on the line. This is south of Cartersville, and now we have a lightning strike out of that. This is just to the west of Allatoona Lake. That's drifting over toward the west, and it most likely is going to fall apart as it keeps moving over to the west as well. But you can see there some of the heavy rain coming down from that. North of Dallas, in fact, let me zoom in just a little bit tighter. I'm going to do this by hand here. So you can see some of those areas that we're talking about. Right there at North Paulding Drive, here is Crowville, the Seven Hills Connector. This is just to the north of that. It's right along Highway 61 and near North Paulding Drive, where we have some of that heavier rain. The lightning was placed over here just kind of right on the line. So just be aware of that moving over toward the west. And these showers over in Chattooga County still holding together with some thunder and lightning with that too. That's drifting over the line into Alabama, getting closer to Fort Payne right there along Interstate 59. And also a little lightning developing with this right on the Dade and Walker County line as well. And that's that heavier rain. You know, we've had that just kind of, these don't really move that much. They just kind of drift. This one's drifting toward the west, and we expect that is going to rain itself out as well. And then more showers in South Alabama, South Georgia, the panhandle of Florida, but those are going to stay away from us. So for the rest of the nighttime hours, we're going to be doing okay. Take a look at the almanac on the big screen. You can see what we're watching here. You know, I also reported earlier that our high was 91. Well, the National Weather Service revised it in the late update and is now saying the high was 93 today. Our average for this time of year is 89, so we were about 4 degrees above the average today. The low this morning was about 3 degrees above the average at 74, and we didn't get any rain at Hartsfield-Jackson today, but some folks did. Not many, but some folks did get some showers. We're still really warm out there. 85 degrees here in town. Duluth, you're even hotter at 86. Those are the two warmest spots that we have. Athens is 84. We have some spots that are down into the 70s. Marietta, you had that rain just to the west of you. That helped to kind of cool things off near you. 70, you're in the 70s right now. Tomorrow we're back to 91. On our scale from 1 to 11, where an 11 is a perfect day, we're going with a 7 on the wasometer with about a 30% chance for some afternoon showers. I really think on the 4th, a lot of us will make it through the day without seeing any rain at all. There'll just be a few of those pop-up showers around. Same thing on Sunday, still warm at 90, and then a better chance for rain coming in Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, 50 to 60% chance for rain. That'll bring the temperatures down a little bit into the mid-80s, and then the rain chance kind of goes down a little bit Thursday to 40%, 30% on Friday, and with that, the temperatures go back up into the upper 80s.
Well, Coney Island takes center stage every 4th of July with the Nathan's Hot Dog Eating Championship. NBC's Harry Smith explains how to best enjoy a hot dog from some people in Coney Island who know what they're talking about.
In In its heyday, Coney Island was a seaside Shangri-La. Fun seekers would climb under the subway in Manhattan and take an express to the beach for a nickel. And while there, delight in a local delicacy, the hot dog.
Charles Feltman is known as the inventor of the hot dog. He was the first person to put the sausage on an elongated bun.
Michael Quinn and his brother Joe started Feltman's of Coney Island in 2015.
So you guys decide to go into the hot dog business. And what did your family and friends say?
Every single person laughed at us. My parents thought it was a couple of croutons short of a Caesar salad.
Once, there were 3 Quinn brothers, Brooklyn kids, born and bred. They'd always dreamed of going into business together.
That dream came crashing down on 9/11 when Jimmy lost his life on the World Trade Center.
I was a senior at the United States Military Academy at West Point. I ended up doing 2 tours in Iraq and a tour in Afghanistan. It wasn't until I got out of the military where we reignited this conversation about starting this company.
The dogs, based on Charles Feltman's original recipe, are flying off the shelves.
Did America really need another hot dog company?
I think it does. During the pandemic, when all the shelves were cleared, a lot of the tofu hot dogs remained on the shelves, right?
That the modest meat has become a must-have these days is no mystery, says Joe.
I think it was a comfort factor. Families with young kids, you're able to buy a pack of our 10-to-1 hot dogs that feeds you for 2 nights on about $5.
The humble hot dog, symbol of summer, best friend of baseball, and the backbone of the backyard barbecue, is having a moment. Across the country in Colorado, customers crave Mike's Conies.
The hot dog is making a major comeback in America. Do you know why?
The hot dog is just a symbol of simpler, happy times.
Proprietor Mike Kalush says his peripatetic pop-up sells out most every stop. Hot dogs, he insists, are good for you.
You know, they're not considered a health food. It's a happy food. But I think that happiness is a really important part of being healthy.
True hot dog happiness, though, says Mike, cannot be achieved if a certain condiment is requested.
First of all, if someone wants to put ketchup on one of my Conies, I don't say anything. I just give them a stare. Like, you got to be kidding me. They can ruin the hot dog on their own, but I will not do it. Won't do it.
Back in Brooklyn, the brothers Quinn agree.
Taking a bite out of history.
Accompanied only by Feltman's apple cider vinegar mustard.
There must be something good about this, because it's 11:30 in the morning, and I'm eating this like it's the last food on earth. Wow, this is good.
Brother Jimmy, they know, is smiling.
Trials and more. Subscribe to 11Alive today.
In times of great uncertainty, some things become more clear. The things we take for granted, the people we depend on daily. Here at 11Alive, we'd like to say thank you. First responders, medical staff, sanitation workers, truck drivers, postal workers, and every brave Georgian doing their part to make a difference. We see you, we hear you, and we appreciate all that you do.
Let's start with a viral message going around. Quote, vast majority of people who died had ibuprofen Advil in their system. This message is fake.
We just bought 20 dust masks for $97.
Are you doing this to help people, or are you doing this to make money, or both?
Both. Take this email sent to the Verify team. Is it safe to have your house cleaned by outside workers? The best practice is to limit guests to emergencies only.
We know things are changing every day, but we're here with you. Continuous COVID-19 coverage during Primetime. We're committed to giving you facts, not fear. On 11Alive News Primetime, weeknights from 8 to 11 on WATF.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Today at noon on 11Alive.
We are seeing that lack of smell or altered taste can be a symptom.
We answer your coronavirus-related medical questions. Because 11Alive is where Atlanta speaks.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's big...
We will see about a 30% chance for a shower for your holiday weekend, both Saturday and Sunday. Just the afternoon variety of pop-up showers. Rain chances, though, going up Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, with high temperatures that'll be back to the 80s once we see that better chance for some scattered showers.
And with that, I'll hand things over to Jeff Hullinger as Primetime rolls on.
In times of great uncertainty, some things become more clear. The things we take for granted, the people we depend on daily. Here at 11Alive, we'd like to say thank you. First responders, medical staff, sanitation workers, truck drivers, postal workers, and every brave Georgian doing their part to make a difference. We see you, we hear you, and we appreciate all that you do.
Let's start with a viral message going around. Quote, vast majority of people who died had ibuprofen Advil in their system. This message is fake.
We just bought 20 dust masks for $97.
Are you doing this to help people or are you doing this to make money or both?
Both. Take this email sent to the Verify team. Is it safe to have your house cleaned by outside workers? The best practice is to limit guests to emergencies only.
We know things are changing every day, but we're here with you. Continuous COVID-19 coverage during primetime. We're committed to giving you facts, not fear. On 11Alive News Primetime, weeknights from 8 to 11 on WATF.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Today at noon on 11Alive.
We are seeing that lack of smell or altered taste can be a symptom.
We answer your coronavirus-related medical questions. Because 11Alive is where Atlanta speaks.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11Alive today.
Let's start with a viral message going around. Quote, vast majority of people who died had ibuprofen Advil in their system. This message is
11Alive News Primetime on the ATL starts now.
And on this Friday night, now at 10, today is the third highest day for coronavirus cases on record in our state. The Department of Public Health reporting nearly 2,800 new cases of the virus. One question many are asking tonight, What has caused the dramatic spike in the infections? Many are blaming the spike on the recent protests and marches. John Schierick joins us live in Midtown with that part of the story for us tonight. John?
It might seem obvious that hundreds or thousands of protesters jammed together in daily demonstrations might spread the virus and set off the spike that we're now seeing across this state. But health officials say there's little evidence to support that. Researchers and contact tracers in Georgia and across the country trying to find out, did the protests at their peak help stir up in the crowds an infectious COVID-19 brew that caused our current outbreak in cases? Senior pastor Jedinson Franklin of Free Chapel in Gainesville, among many who are certain they did. He's expressing outrage that some states allow protests but ban in-person church services. Franklin posted on Twitter, the very definition of discrimination is to allow thousands to march and scream without masks while telling churches 100 or less that you cannot sing. Did the protests cause the spike?
I don't think the facts back that up yet.
Atlanta infectious diseases expert Dr. Melanie Thompson.
The studies that have looked at geographically where the protests were are not bearing out that the protests are responsible for this upswing that we are seeing. So many of the protesters wore masks, and they were outside. Those things can act to decrease the potential for infection.
The National Bureau of Economic Research just published a study by researchers at 3 universities. They looked at protests in 281 cities, tracked movements of people using cell phone data, and then looked at CDC COVID-19 data from those cities. The conclusion, no significant increase in overall cases in those areas. Georgia's Department of Public Health says it's difficult to prove if any infection came from a protest, but, quote, we have not seen any indication of increased cases or outbreaks due to recent demonstrations. Where are people getting infected in Georgia? Not outdoors, but indoors. The sources include workplaces, prisons and jails, restaurants, bars, and churches reopened for in-person services.
We're really talking about knowing how to control this pandemic. So it is time to put to use what we know.
So health officials say it is impossible to trace all of these cases during this spike right now to the protests. And again, there's little evidence that the protests caused the spike. Jeff.
John, a really thoughtful piece, really thought-provoking, and yet there is evidence that simple community spread is a major culprit here?
Well, you know, what was going on is the protests, the peak of the protests were occurring at about the same time that Georgia was reopening. And so the evidence points not to the protests, but possibly to people who were letting down their guard as the state was reopening.
John Schierick in Midtown. John, always great to have you on our 10 o'clock broadcast. Please join us every night, would you? Thank you, John. Now a look at the very latest COVID-19 numbers in Georgia. The Department of Public Health reports that 2,784 new cases of the virus are here. Today marks the 3rd highest number of new cases on record for Georgia. Look at the area in the orange, and that is just this week. Here's a breakdown of cases now and hospitalizations by age group. The cases are in teal. The hospitalizations are in orange. You can see the group with the highest number of positive cases now is 18 to 29 years of age. Doctors say that is in part because they're not wearing masks or social distancing. But those who are 80 and older are most at risk for needing serious medical care. The real concern is not only the surge in cases, but the strain on our hospital system. These are coronavirus patients needing care right now. And we want to see this line trending down, but it's been rising since June 7th. Well, the hospitals we talk to still say they are managing all of that despite more patients. More growth at this rate could seriously stress the system. Many cities have canceled the 4th of July fireworks, the shows, the parades due to COVID-19 concern over large gatherings. Popular parks and lakes around the metro are expecting crowded parking lots all weekend long. We checked available reservations for Sweetwater Creek State Park, and it is one of the closest state parks to Atlanta. Picnic areas and campsites are booked for the 4th of July, and the DNR is posting an alert on its website reading that some parks are experiencing large crowds on certain days. Park staff may temporarily limit access to ensure social distancing and protect the health of the public and our employees. The concern for doctors is the possibility of large groups.
There's a reason why we need to go to the grocery store. There's a reason why we may need to go to the hardware store, but there isn't a reason to have a large barbecue in our backyard. And those are many of the things that have been causing the current problem.
Doctors say if done correctly, with people practicing social distancing, wearing masks when around others, and frequent hand washing, heading to the lake or a state park could be an ideal way to spend the holiday. People who want to get tested for COVID-19 over the holiday weekend, it's a different story. You've got fewer options. Now, we noticed less than 20 DPH testing sites open in Georgia over the next 3 days. There are no testing sites open in DeKalb County, the county with the third highest number of coronavirus cases in the state. We also noticed a lack of testing sites in counties south of Atlanta. There are still places where you can get a test over the weekend. We have that information on 11alive.com, including the hours of operation and whether you need to make an appointment or not. All right, our chief meteorologist, Chris Holcomb, is with us tonight. Chris, so many people want clear skies for the weekend, but come on, this is Atlanta around July 4th. The recipe is hot, sticky, may rain hard. We'll just have to wait and see.
You know, and it's one of those things where you can't time out exactly where these showers are going to go. It's just the heat and humidity at times just bubble up some of these showers, and that's what we're expecting tomorrow. Not going to be widespread. Not a lot of people getting showers. Pretty similar to what we have going on right now. Most places are dry, but we have a couple of those showers that have popped up. In fact, we'll show you a few of those, mainly north and west of the city. You can see this one that was in Cobb County just a little while ago. It fell apart, and then the outflow from that as it kind of fell apart here caused these showers to develop, and it even generated a little bit of lightning here just to the west of Allatoona Lake. Heavy rain there right in the southern parts of Bartow County, northern parts of Paulding County. This is moving, just kind of drifting over toward the west. A few other showers here in Chattooga County near Somerville. Excuse me. Some of those showers are moving over near Fort Payne in Alabama, and then that's kind of growing southward here. A few showers just to the north of Rome. I just looked on the tower cam. It's not raining in Rome right now, but there are a few showers nearby there. So just some of that in northwest Georgia at this hour. Elsewhere, not much going on over North Georgia. Most of us are dry. We have some showers back into Alabama. Those aren't going to be moving our way. Stay with us. We'll take a look at the almanac coming up in just a little bit at just how hot we got today and if we're going to be hot again tomorrow.
All right, here's a live look now in South Dakota at the Mount Rushmore area. President Trump is there celebrating the 4th of July weekend for thousands of Americans. Not that far from Rapid City, South Dakota. If you've ever been in that part of the country, Governor Noem is the Republican governor there. Tom Brokaw's world, where he is from. And it's going to be a very large crowd. The president expected to discuss several topics before the crowd at the free event, of course. And it does not come without controversy. Guests are not required to wear a mask or social distancing. We're pulling back right now. We're underneath Mount Rushmore. There it is, up top. Beautiful part of the country. Amazing part of South Dakota if you ever get the chance to go there. All right, we will continue now on this Friday night. New at 10, a pregnant mother is fighting to get out of her lease after bullets flew into her living room, and she and her son survived. But as Hope Ford explains, the shooting left the family feeling unsafe.
It's the middle of a Sunday afternoon on June 7th when suddenly 20 bullets pierced the side of a rented home in Lithonia with a pregnant mom and her son inside.
I thought like an earthquake had happened. And then when I got down to the middle of my hallway, I saw the bullet holes on the wall.
The victim didn't want to be identified because she no longer feels safe.
I mean, my baby's car seat was shot up. You know, just to think if he was in that car seat.
Her home was also burglarized at the end of last year, and on May 29th of this year, a suspected robber was killed by a homeowner in the same neighborhood. As a result of everything, the woman contacted the owner of her property, Duluth-based Havenbrook Homes. She wanted to transfer to another house within the company. However, she says her request was denied.
They said that the house was still livable.
According to her lease, she would have to pay thousands to terminate the contract early, something not in her budget after losing her job due to COVID-19. But the lease also also reads, the landlord can relocate a resident if the premises are partially damaged through no fault of the resident. The victim showed 11Alive emails sent by a DeKalb County detective assigned to her case. The detective writes, it's not at all unreasonable for you as an occupant of that residence to fear for the safety of both yourself and your family.
Every time I go upstairs, downstairs, everything that just comes back to my mind.
An online search reveals Havenbrook Homes LLC has low ratings on Yelp and 63 customer reviews with the Better Business Bureau. All but 4 are negative. The woman says her son now has nightmares and wants the landlord to have compassion.
New tonight at 10, the Cherokee County Sheriff's Office says they need your help identifying 2 homicide suspects. Take a look at these photos. Officers say that both men have distinctive forearm tattoos. They are believed to be driving a silver 03 to 08 Honda Pilot with chrome accents on the mirrors and front and rear bumpers. Investigators believe that they are connected to a homicide in Ackworth that occurred last Friday. New tonight, the body of a newborn found in a wooded area of Dawson County. A neighbor found the baby around noon. Investigators believe the child was around 1 to 2 weeks old, and right now police are questioning 2 people in connection with this case. Atlanta police tweeting there will be an extra effort on their part to patrol the Sweet Auburn neighborhood this weekend. It's been several shootings nearby in the past month or so, and businesses have expressed concern to City Hall about large street parties that have caused problems, but they say they're not getting any help from city government. APD says it is focusing on pedestrian safety, traffic, that is a big crowd there, and parking enforcement in the area this weekend. Parents forced to make a decision on their children will learn this school year. Next, the state's largest school district explains why it is important to know where parents stand. Atlanta's mayor says the city dealing with some call-outs within APD. In the next half hour, what she had to say about trying to boost sagging morale.
Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Today at noon on 11Alive.
We are seeing that lack of smell or altered taste can be a symptom.
We answer your coronavirus-related medical questions. Because 11Alive is where Atlanta speaks.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11Alive today.
In times of great uncertainty, some things become more clear.
Parents in the state's largest school district have just 7 days to decide if they will send their kids back to campus full-time or enroll in virtual learning from home. The district told our Caitlin Ross they had to set a deadline so they could have a clear picture of what school would look like for these students.
So much planning is going into this. Bus schedules, class sizes, which teachers will be recording lessons. Gwinnett says they needed to set a deadline so they could get the ball rolling.
The situation changes on a daily basis, if not more frequently.
Right now, Gwinnett County schools are scheduled to return August 5th, but Gwinnett District spokesperson Bernard Watson says that's not set in stone.
As we move closer to that date, we are in constant contact with our health partners.
Well, some parents expressed frustration that they have to make a decision about their child's education with so much uncertainty about what could happen next with Georgia's coronavirus numbers. Watson says the district needs to know so they can figure out their plans.
A lot of what is going to happen happen in the classroom has not even been determined yet because we haven't heard back from our parents.
11Alive has heard from teachers as well, worried about teaching both in-person and online courses. Watson says they're still figuring that out too.
Some live teaching and some recorded teaching will be going on, right? But some teachers may have to do both.
One thing they're sure of, though, is that the virtual classes will be taught by Gwinnett County teachers. Some smaller districts are contracting out recorded classes to a subscription service that would provide lessons to the districts. But Gwinnett says it's not doing that.
We're going to do everything local.
Watson says he understands that these are hard decisions, and they'll have to make a lot of adjustments along the way.
This is not an optimal or ideal situation. I don't think anybody would want us to be in this situation. We are doing our best.
Well, the district is not requiring masks. He says they'll provide 3 washable masks to every student and teacher, and the district is strongly encouraging people to wear them. They'll also have hand sanitizer and one-way hallways. But in terms of class size, that's going to depend on how many kids return to campus.
I'm meteorologist Chris Holcomb. We are tracking just a few showers out there tonight. Most of us are dry, but Jeff and I were talking a few minutes ago about how in the summertime you get the heat and humidity and it just sometimes bubbles up a few showers, and that's what's happening out there tonight. We've only had a few of those. We're dry in most places around Atlanta, over North Georgia, but here's where we've been tracking some showers. Some that were in Cobb County earlier fell apart, and then as they collapsed, then we saw this shower develop in North Paulding in the southern parts of Bartow. That had a little bit of thunder and lightning with it just a few minutes ago. You can see it leaving Cobb, and then that cell developing in northern Paulding, southern Bartow County. Here's Allatoona Lake right here. So these are just to the west of the lake, and they're not coming toward the lake. They're drifting over toward the west. We had some lightning with this earlier. We have another little cell developing there around Taylorsville. That's the northern part of Polk County and southern parts of Bartow County as well. And then more showers over here in parts of Floyd County near Rome into Somerville. Some of those have some pockets of heavy rain. The heaviest part of this has crossed over the line into Alabama. These are also drifting toward the west too. That's where we're seeing the thunder and lightning. So some of you in northwest Georgia are seeing that lightning from the distance that's just over the line into Alabama. But I know a lot of times when you look at this stuff and you see rain in Alabama, you think it's coming toward us, but in this situation it is drifting away from us, moving toward Fort Payne right there on Interstate 59. Elsewhere, we don't have any other showers around here in metro Atlanta, and even the activity that was down in South Georgia and also in South Alabama and in the Florida Panhandle, that's kind of falling apart out there too. Let's take a look out there right now and you can see what we're watching. This is the tower cam in Rome. All right, so now when we looked at this a minute ago, the streets were dry as those showers were north of Rome. Now some of those showers have extended into Rome, and you can see not only are the roads wet, but can you see that street light right here? All right, you see those raindrops right there? Those street lights help us to see that. There's another street light right here where you can see those raindrops that are coming down. So rain is coming down in Rome right now. You can see the wet roads there as well. But it's not going to last long. It's pretty much going to rain itself out. Earlier, we reported to you that our high today was 91. The National Weather Service revised that with its later update this evening. We actually went up to 93 degrees after the first report was issued. So that is now our new high for the day. We should be around 89 this time of year. So that's 4 degrees above the average. Our low this morning was also above average at 74, where we should be at 71. We didn't get any rain in Atlanta today. Surplus is about 13 inches above where we should be in rainfall for the year. 84 in Atlanta. It's still really warm here with those temperatures in the mid 80s. Athens, you're still in the 80s. Duluth, mid 80s. Rome, 83. That temperature is going to be falling in Rome, though, now that you've got some rain coming through there. But elsewhere, most temperatures are in the 70s. Dalton, you're still in the 80s at 81 degrees. Tomorrow, we're up to 91 again. Going to be a really hot day. 7 on the wasometer. Our scale from 1 to 11, where an 11 is a perfect day. And just a few of those isolated pop-up showers. As we've been saying, it's just the heat and humidity that'll develop some of these. Lunchtime, we're dry. Maybe a couple of showers in the mountains at lunchtime. And then in the afternoon, as you can see, not a widespread coverage of rain, just a few of those pop-up showers around. We're going to see highs tomorrow at 91 and then lower 90s again Sunday. We'll hold on to that 30% chance for a shower Sunday. Then an upper level low is going to kind of be slow to move through our area at the beginning of next week, and that's going to keep us with some rain chances Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And with the higher rain chances, we'll be cooler in the 80s, but then rain chances go down Thursday and Friday, and those temperatures come back up. Take a look at your weather wow moment for the day. This is from Dee Dee Brown in Tyndall, Georgia, and in this beautiful, where we had the clouds there. the sun behind that, giving those crepuscular rays from that. So a nice view of that. Thank you, Dee Dee. We'd love to see your weather wow moment, and you can send those to us by being a part of our 11 Alive Storm Trackers on Facebook. Just ask or search for 11 Alive Storm Trackers, ask to become a member of that group, and we'll let you into this exclusive local weather community.
Are there T-shirts for that group, Chris?
Not now.
Not now, okay. All right. Across the world, hearts and minds are changing. A local nonprofit is teaming up with tattoo parlors to help permanently erase hate in the community. Stay with us.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Today at noon on 11 Alive.
We are seeing that lack of smell or altered taste can be a symptom.
We answer your coronavirus-related medical questions. Because 11 Alive is where Atlanta speaks.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11Alive today.
In times of great uncertainty, some things become more clear. The things we take for granted, the people we depend on daily. Here at 11 Alive, we'd like to say thank you. First responders, medical staff, sanitation workers, truck drivers, postal workers, and every brave Georgian doing their part to make a difference. We see you, we hear you, and we appreciate all that you do.
Let's start with a viral message going around. Quote, vast majority of people who died had ibuprofen Advil in their system. This message is fake.
We just bought 20 dust masks for $97.
Are you doing this to help people, or are you doing this to make money, or both?
Both. Take this email sent to the Verify team. Is it safe?
A local nonprofit known in the community for helping sex trafficking survivors cover up scars of the past. But as Mara Siriani explains, Atlanta Redemption Inc. is also doing its part to erase the hate associated with racist tattoos.
Crystal Boyd is hard at work in her shop.
The Confederate flag is the most common one that I've covered.
Transforming a large racist tattoo into something beautiful.
It was a different time in her life, and now she is embarrassed of it. Doesn't represent, what she thinks or feels.
Boyd owns Pure Ink Tattoo and Piercings in Alpharetta and partners with Atlanta Redemption Inc. to do many different types of cover-ups.
Yeah, I just think it takes a big person to come forward and say, at one point in my life, this is what I believed in, and I realize now that it's wrong.
For the woman getting the cover-up, it hides a painful reminder of the past.
Every time I would look in the mirror and see that, all I could think was how hateful it was and how ugly it was, and it wasn't me.
Boyd is one of about 20 tattoo artists in Georgia working with the survivor-led nonprofit.
And we've helped over 250 individuals who have either been survivors of human trafficking, former self-harmers, former gang members, and people that have struggled with drug addiction.
Jessica Lamb founded the organization in 2017. Their mission to transform painful reminders of the past into symbols of triumph.
And so it's kind of like the end of their process, their healing process.
When we get to work with individuals like we are today, we get to see a heart change. And so when we see that heart change happen, then we can take it from there and began to help them cover up the memories of their past that are left on their skin.
So no matter if it's a symbol of pain, hate, something you're embarrassed of, or no longer agree with.
I think right now our world is hurting and they need to see hope, and so we hope to offer that.
I've never been happier with the tattoo. I can honestly say, like, I feel free now.
Atlanta Redemption Inc. relies on volunteers and community donations to help. You can go to 11alive.com and click on this story. Social change, more than overdue. Black Georgia lawmakers sharing memories, their own experiences with law enforcement throughout their lives.
Yes to emergencies only.
We know things are changing every day, but we're here with you. Continuous COVID-19 coverage during primetime. We're committed to giving you facts, not fear. On 11Alive News Primetime, weeknights from 8 to 11 on WATF.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Today at noon on 11Alive.
We are seeing that lack of smell or altered taste can be a symptom.
We answer your coronavirus-related medical questions. Because 11Alive is where Atlanta speaks.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11Alive today.
In times of great uncertainty, some things become more clear. The things we take for granted, the people we depend on daily. Here at 11Alive, we'd like to say thank you. First responders, medical staff, sanitation workers, truck drivers, postal workers, and every brave Georgian doing their part to make a difference. We see you, we hear you, and we appreciate all that you do.
Let's start with a viral message going around. Quote, vast majority of people who died had ibuprofen Advil in their system. This message is fake.
We just bought 20 dust masks for $97.
Are you doing this to help people or are you doing this to make money or both?
Both. Take this email sent to the Verify team. Is it safe to have your house cleaned by outside workers? The best practice is to limit guests to emergencies only.
We know things are changing every day, but we're here with you. Continuous COVID-19 coverage during primetime. We're committed to giving you facts, not fear. On 11Alive News Primetime, weeknights from 8 to 11 on WATF.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick.
Tonight, a story that goes behind the Black Lives Matter movement when African Americans say that their encounters with law enforcement are more contentious and more frequent. It includes people who have achieved great status in their lives as leaders. During the recent legislative session, 11Alive's Doug Richards spoke with black lawmakers about their experience over their lifetime with police.
You know, all my encounters wasn't bad, but on this particular time, I was at college, shooting pool, having some wings, having a good time. Yeah, Top Gun was out there. And I had a bomber jacket, and the waitstaff let me know that, hey, somebody took your jacket off the wall. We ran down the steps and then ran down the street to see if we could just see the jacket on anybody. And lo and behold, we did catch up to it was a group of people. They were definitely a different race than I was. And we confronted them. And when the cops showed up, I had just taken the jacket in my possession. And so the cops grabbed me like I was the guy stealing the jacket, and I was actually the victim.
So I moved to Gwinnett in 1978. When you live in Gwinnett, you with 70,000 people, you don't have very many blacks. The police didn't quit stopping me in Gwinnett until 1994. One time they stopped me and said I was going too slow. It's kind of like I was going 55, I was going 60, so what is too slow? But they saw somebody of color. It's like, okay, where are they going? And the last time they stopped me one house from my house.
I was at the Walmart over off of Camp Creek Parkway in my van, and my wife and daughter was inside. The police came to my van and told me to get out, and I asked them why. They never answered me. They threw me up against the side of my van, and I'm still asking, okay, what's the problem? You know, what's going on? They're telling me, shut up. So finally, my wife and my daughter came out of the store trying to, you know, they were scared to death because they didn't know what was going on. The police didn't talk to them, basically told them to go stand on the side, mind their business. And one of the officers that was on the phone apparently got the information that they needed to find out that I was not the person that they wanted to arrest. And they never apologized, nothing.
I grew up in Baltimore, Maryland. I remember just sort of driving through Baltimore and being pulled over by the cops just because I was driving while black. And it stuck with me, and it's on me now. I'm 51 years old, still with me. These four guys, four white men in an unmarked car followed me for miles. It was four police officers. And they followed me from where I was working a landscaping job almost to my neighborhood in the city and said, what are you doing? And we want to just make sure you're going home and you're getting to the right place. But we have to really see, okay, what is it really like to be a black man in America when the police are right at your heels?
Those things, you don't forget them.
How would you feel if that was your constant state of being? Well, that's kind of how it is in America.
There has been small increments of change already since the nationwide protests began in late May against police brutality and racism. Last week, the state legislature passed a hate crimes bill, and Governor Kemp immediately signed it into law. But that is a small piece in a much greater push to bring about changes in the United States. You can read more about those efforts on our 11Alive app. Just look under the Seen on TV section. Atlanta's mayor is addressing morale within the police department tonight. She says APD still dealing with some call-outs after ex-officer Garrett Rolfe was charged with felony murder in the shooting death of Rayshard Brooks. After the Fulton County District Attorney announced those charges, rumors of a blue flu swept across the city. 11Alive got records from the department that showed officers called out sick 170 times in 3 days after the announcement, and the head of the police union told 11Alive's officers that they were frightened to respond to violent crimes for fears of harsh punishment. Mayor Bottoms says she understands their concerns and is committed to supporting officers, and says she showed that with a 30% pay raise for police when she took office.
In the same way that I made that commitment to our officers, I just ask that they be reminded of the commitment that they made to our city when they took their oath. Nobody said that this job would be easy. It's not easy being mayor. It's certainly not easy being a police officer, but there's a commitment that comes with that. There will be bumps in the road. There have been bumps in the road. We are mindful of that. But the changes that we are making is not just for the safety of our community, but for the safety of our officers as well.
Moving forward, Mayor Bottoms says she is committed to bringing officers to the table to hear their concerns, while an advisory council works on potential reforms.
I think that we need to be very clear on what our expectations are. And to the extent that we have failed our officers in any way with the training that we are providing our officers, I think it is our responsibility as a city to make it very clear what our rules and regulations are, what our expectations are.
Sheba Russell's interview is a very interesting one, and they covered a number of topics from coronavirus to the upcoming census deadline. It's worth your time. You can watch the entire conversation on the 11Alive YouTube page. U.S. Surgeon General Jerome Adams is urging anyone celebrating the 4th of July this weekend to wear a mask because COVID-19 is not going anywhere. On the Today Show this morning, he said masks are the key to more freedom, not less, because fewer cases mean more things can stay open. He also appealed directly to younger people.
We know that many of the new cases are being spread in much younger people, and it's why we now encourage everyone to wear a face covering or a mask so that you can prevent asymptomatic spread. If you want college football in the fall, young people, please wear a face covering. If you want prom next year, please wear a face covering. It can prevent asymptomatic spread and help us overcome this virus.
This is just days after the Surgeon General joined Governor Kemp for part of a statewide tour pushing people to wear masks. Over the past 2 weeks, all but 10 states have seen an increase in their coronavirus numbers, and 36 have seen an increase in the rate of tests that come back positive, which means it's not just more tests driving up the numbers. Yesterday, the U.S. recorded a new high for single-day cases. For months, many hospitals were shut down, not allowing families in to see their loved ones, sometimes in their final moments. It is a very difficult rule that keeps people safe, but by preventing the potential spread of the virus, it doesn't make it emotionally any easier. Matt Pearl spoke with one man whose job it is to enforce a very difficult policy.
We started pre-COVID, clock in for your 12-hour shift, and you have some reasonable expectation that I'm going to do this, I'm going to move to this. We really turned that on its head. My name is Mike Hodges. I'm the Director of Public Safety for Piedmont Athens Regional. A hospital pre-COVID is a very open and welcoming place, and we like it that way. We want families to come and go. And a facility our size can see, a couple of thousand folks a day. It's down to, hundreds, in the lower hundreds. It's very restricted to those that absolutely need to be in the hospital to support patient care. Most people, they probably look at hospital public safety and think, have a picture of a security guard sitting on a bench somewhere watching the crowd go by. You're dealing with the full range of human emotions in a hospital. To be able to enter into someone's worst day and someone's worst moment and help de-escalate and calm. If there's an issue in a room, the officer's going to go in as well and be there in that environment. That weighs on individuals. Our goal is to be the calm in the storm. We certainly know about the nurses that put themselves in harm's way, or the physicians coming in and out. We're all in this together, which can be kind of a hokey phrase at this point, but it's true. What's caused me to be so proud is just seeing that complete lack of hesitation, that commitment to the role that the job that they have. They go where they're needed, and that's the point.
The nation's top infectious disease expert, Dr. Anthony Fauci, says the U.S. is considering a new COVID-19 testing method. It could be the key to the widespread testing needed during the pandemic. Let's connect the dots.
The nation's top doctors are talking about a new COVID-19 testing strategy. Their idea? To test groups of people together. So what is pool testing and how does it work? Let's connect the dots. Pool testing combines samples from multiple people. Those samples are then tested together for one group result. If it's negative, then the entire group is clear of coronavirus. But if it's positive, then every person needs to get tested individually. Experts say pool testing has a lot of advantages. It's more efficient and cost-effective. It may also help pinpoint asymptomatic people who may not have been tested otherwise. But you might be thinking, how accurate can this really be? Here's the key. The group can't be too big. That could skew the results. The magic number, around 10 people. Experts say this strategy allows them to test 10 times more people every day across the country. And that is connecting the dots.
Pool testing already being used in Europe. Several nursing homes in Germany are using it to keep residents and staff safe.
Most of us are dry right now, but we are tracking a few showers. Some of these in northwest Georgia have heavy rain and a lot of thunder and lightning with them. You might be seeing that lightning from the distance up in northwest Georgia. Stay with us. We'll let you know if we'll see any additional showers developing on the holiday weekend.
Well, we've been waiting to say this for a while. Sports returns to Atlanta. The Braves back on the field. We'll check in with them next.
Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Today at noon on 11Alive.
We are seeing that lack of smell or altered taste can be a symptom.
We answer your coronavirus-related medical questions. Because 11Alive is where Atlanta speaks.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11Alive today.
Let's start with a viral message going around. Quote, vast majority of people who died had ibuprofen Advil in their system. This message is fake.
We just bought 20 dust masks for $97.
Are you doing this to help people, or are you doing this to make money, or both?
Both. Take this email sent to the Verify team. Is it safe to have your house cleaned by outside workers? The best practice is to limit guests to emergencies only.
We know things are changing every day, but we're here with you. Continuous COVID-19 coverage during primetime. We're committed to giving you facts, not fear. On 11Alive News Primetime, weeknights from 8 to 11 on WATF.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Today at noon on 11Alive.
We are seeing that lack of smell or altered taste can be a symptom.
We answer your coronavirus-related medical questions. Because 11Alive is where Atlanta speaks.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11Alive today.
The airport has a plan to keep passengers and employees safe all weekend long. Here's Mara Siriani.
In light of the virus, experts say the volume of travelers is largely dependent on how safe people feel actually getting on an airplane. Atlanta's airport making safety a top priority. Hartsfield-Jackson International expects roughly 400,000 passengers through Monday. That's more than they've seen in recent months due to COVID-19, but it's still dramatically down. Airport officials say they will now be handing out face masks. You'll also see 250 new hand sanitizing stations throughout the airport. Passengers can expect plexiglass partitions at security checkpoints to further encourage social distancing. You'll also see social distancing floor markers. On the concourses, food vendors are operating under new COVID-19 protocols. And when you board, most airlines are only allowing a certain number of passengers on the plane at a time. Some airlines are actually banning passengers if they don't have a face mask. Remember, you will be asked to wear that mask throughout the duration of your flight.
When the sun sets on the 4th of July, many of us will be looking up at the sky, watching fireworks displays while practicing social distancing. But what gives those fireworks their dazzling color? Here is Wes Peary connecting the dots.
So you like watching fireworks, huh? Well, then you also like watching science in action. Now, before I get too sciencey on you, let's start with your basic firework. The source of most fireworks is a small tube called an aerial shell that is shot into the air before it explodes at a safe height. This shell contains chemicals that create all of the lights, colors, and sounds of a firework. Inside there are small globs of explosive materials called stars. It's these stars that give the fireworks their color when they explode. Typically, light from the fireworks is produced by luminescence. The heat created from the explosion of gunpowder in the aerial shell creates a lot of heat, which causes metal salts in the stars to absorb heat energy and emit light. The electrons inside the atoms of these metals become excited by the heat. The electrons then almost immediately go to a lower energy state, and that's when they emit light and a specific color. The color is based on the metal used, like strontium, barium, sodium, copper, or other mixtures.
And I just thought it was an explosion. There's science to that. Isn't that cool to see those colors there? Now you know where those colors come from. Now we're getting a little bit of action from Mother Nature tonight in the form of some booms in the sky in northwest Georgia from the thunder and lightning. You can see those showers and storms now through parts of Floyd County into Chattooga County and also across the line into Alabama right along Interstate 59. This is a shower or thunderstorm that developed and it's just drifting over toward the west. It's not coming toward us. Is drifting more over into Alabama. Now closer into the metro area, we were tracking some showers earlier in Cobb County. Got confirmation from some of our 11Alive community storm trackers of the rain that was coming down in West Cobb. As that storm fell apart, then this shower developed in the northern parts of Paulding County. That's now drifting over into Polk. We have a couple of showers in the southern parts of Bartow County. Those are also drifting over toward the north and west with some heavy rain. We're not seeing as much lightning with that now as we saw earlier, but the heaviest one we have is this up here in Floyd, Chattooga, and then across the line into Alabama. We have about 63 lightning strikes in the past 15 minutes. Most of those are with this from Rome, stretching up across the line into Chattooga County, close to the Somerville area. That's just to the west of Armurchie. Now, what I'm about to do, I'm going to show you a tower cam. It's dark out there, so when the screen goes dark, I don't want you to think that we're doing something wrong here, that something happened. You can still see some of the lights there closer to the road there in Rome. I wanted to show you this though because I've pointed the camera more toward the north and west in Rome, and a few minutes ago I was occasionally seeing some lightning here in the sky. I just want to hold on this just for a second. Since we've had 63 lightning strikes in the past 15 minutes, we might see a couple of flashes here, but of course on air right when I want to show it, they're not going to be there, right? So, but many of you in northwest Georgia looking over toward the Alabama line might be seeing some of that lightning from a distance there, or even into Floyd County, some of that lightning that's going through. It's going to be a hot holiday tomorrow. I don't know how many times in my many years doing the weather that I've said July 4th is going to be hot as a firecracker. Yeah, tomorrow's going to be hot as a firecracker with temperatures in the lower 90s. We're going to see that chance for a few afternoon pop-up storms, and then the rain chance is going to be going up a little bit more as we head into next week. We're still really warm, 84 degrees right now at the 10 o'clock hour, 81 in Rome, but we have 84 in Duluth. Those are the 80s that we have around and in Athens, but everybody else is in the 70s. So as we go through the day tomorrow, get ready for temperatures back into the lower 90s, a 30% chance for some scattered showers to pop up. It's mainly just the little variety in the afternoon that'll just develop and then fall apart. And then the rain chance is a little higher next week, 50 to 60% chance for showers Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Then the rain chance is coming down a little bit. You know, when that rain chance is higher, it'll be cooler. And then when the rain chance goes down, it warms up to near 90 again by the end of the week.
Chris, thank you. NASCAR's Jimmy Johnson will not race Sunday at the Brickyard. He has tested positive for the coronavirus, but he is not showing any symptoms. This is Johnson's last season as a full-time driver. He is a 7-time NASCAR champion. This would have been his final Brickyard 400. Multiple positive tests in Major League Baseball, including Delino DeShields Jr., the former Woodward Academy star now with the Cleveland Indians, is not with the team right now as he recovers. The Indians general manager says that he is doing well, but will need 2 negative tests before he comes back. Meanwhile, the Braves are back, and Friday was their first workout in 4 months. They have plenty of adjustments to be made to try to help the players and staff stay safe. Maria Martin was at Truist Park with more on the new normal for Major League Baseball.
Right now, I just was out there saying hello to some of those guys, and you give them a elbow bump or just say hi from a distance.
The Braves are back for the first time in nearly 4 months of no baseball in what they're calling summer training, and they're preparing for the shortest season in Major League Baseball history. 60 games in nearly 66 days. It's going to be a sprint, and Brian Snitker said he's going to prepare for all possibilities in the next couple weeks.
Everybody takes their temperature twice in the morning before they even come in here. There's going to be days when they're going to turn guys away, and it's going to change the schedule a little bit.
It's going to be a serious adjustment on everybody, but at the same time, we do know that we're excited to be back, and we've got a lot of eyes on us.
Just a lot of the stuff that comes natural, you really have to second guess at the moment. Just how close you are to each other and those kinds of things.
And call it a blessing in disguise, if you will. Lefty Cole Hamels said he feels really good after missing time from a shoulder injury.
This was my 3rd bullpen. Shoulder feels great. Now it's just really kind of building up the endurance.
As you can see, the guy's really excited to get back. Ozzie Albies doing some work with third base coach Ron Washington. They have to get used to those social distancing guidelines that are set in place by MLB and those elbow bumps in the clubhouse as well. Now, the guys have been coming in shifts ever since 7:30 this morning in shifts of 5 or even 2 players, and they're going all the way through 5 o'clock tonight. So very different, but just excited to have baseball back here at Truist Park.
Live sports with fans back in Metro Atlanta this weekend. In Peachtree Corners, it is the DraftKings All-American team. Former UGA star John Isner is one of the 8 Americans in the field. He defeated Taylor Fritz in his first match of the tournament. This is a team versus team event. 4 Americans on each side. They will play all weekend. Isner has won 5 pro titles in Atlanta. He definitely likes the home court advantage.
Put me in the state of Georgia, where I'm very, very comfortable. Went to school up the road for 4 years. This is my favorite place in the world. It's a good recipe for me to play well.
This is also the first U.S. pro tennis tournament to welcome fans since the pandemic began. The event goes through the weekend at the Lifetime Athletic Courts in Peachtree Corners. You know where that is. We have seen great events there over the years. Fans can come out. The stands are set up for social distancing, and we have some ticket and event information on the 11alive.com sports page. Atlanta United's newest star is ready to go. Jürgen Damm is a big-time fast player from Mexico. He will not be part of the MLS Is Back tournament beginning next week, but when he joins the club, he has high expectations.
I hope to do things very well and give also the fans trophies and very good performance.
And that is a look at sports. We'll be right back.
Is it safe to have your house cleaned by outside workers? The best practice is to limit guests to emergencies only.
We know things are changing every day, but we're here with you. Continuous COVID-19 coverage during primetime. We're committed to giving you facts, not fear. On 11Alive News Primetime, weeknights from 8 to 11 on WATF.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Today at noon on 11Alive.
We are seeing that lack of smell or altered taste can be a symptom.
We answer your coronavirus-related medical questions. Because 11Alive is where Atlanta speaks.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11Alive today.
In times of great uncertainty, some things become more clear. The things we take for granted, the people we depend on daily. Here at 11Alive, we'd like to say thank you. First responders, medical staff, sanitation workers, truck drivers, postal workers, and every brave Georgian doing their part to make a difference. We see you, we hear you, and we appreciate all that you do.
Let's start with a viral message going around. Quote, vast majority of people who died had ibuprofen Advil in their system. This message is fake.
We just bought 20 dust masks for $97.
Are you doing this to help people or are you doing this to make money or both?
Both. Take this email sent to the Verify team. Is it safe to have your house cleaned by outside workers? The best practice is to limit guests.
Still watching some of those showers in northwest Georgia. A lot of lightning up in Floyd County and Chattooga County. Those showers are moving a little bit more to the west into Alabama. We will see tomorrow just a 30% chance for some isolated afternoon or early evening showers. Same thing Sunday. Rain chance goes up Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and that'll bring the temperatures down into the 80s, and then the rain chance comes down again by the end of the week. Flip over to 11Alive right now. We'll have more on Up Late.
Is nose and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Today at noon on 11Alive.
We are seeing that lack of smell or altered taste can be a symptom.
We answer your coronavirus-related medical questions. Because 11Alive is where Atlanta speaks.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11Alive today.
Let's start with a viral message going around. Quote, vast majority of people who died had ibuprofen Advil in their system. This message is fake.
We just bought 20 dust masks for $97.
Are you doing this to help people or are you doing this to make money or both?
Both. Take this email sent to the Verify team. Is it safe to have your house cleaned by outside workers? The best practice is to limit guests to emergencies only.
We know things are changing every day, but we're here with you. Continuous COVID-19 coverage during primetime. We're committed to giving you facts, not fear. On 11Alive News Primetime, weeknights from 8 to 11 on WATF.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Today at noon on 11Alive.
We are seeing that lack of smell or altered taste can be a symptom.
We answer your coronavirus-related medical questions. Because 11Alive